It is Tuesday, March 19th. It is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert, joined every Tuesday and Thursday by SP3, and we got a big episode of Raw to talk about from Brussels, the home of Jean-Claude Van Damme and waffles. And I think that's it. Nothing else came out of Brussels as far as I know. How you doing, SP3?
I am doing good on a Tuesday, my usual Tuesday position next to Jeremy here to talk some pro wrestling. We got a good episode of Monday Night Raw to discuss with an all-time great crowd in Brussels, Belgium. That John Cena promo, you get nothing. All of you marks that was like Cena needs a new song, Cena needs new gear. You get nothing. You get nothing. See, I knew where I stood with Mr. John Cena. He follows me on Twitter. I got the scoop. I tried to spoil it for all of y'all. I tried to tell y'all he was gonna turn heel, but y'all didn't want to listen to me. So you get nothing. You get nothing. So we'll talk all about that. We'll talk about the IC title scene is heating up as the Judgment Day are having problems. They're involved in the Intercontinental title scene. Braun Breaker retained last night in the main event. Penta's going for the Intercontinental Championship. We'll discuss everything there. Ria Ripley has turned the clock back to the road to WrestleMania 20. And basically did the same contract signing that was the main event of that show with Io Sky and Bianca Belair last night, signing her name on a contract that had nothing to do with her. That's not how contracts work, but we'll see how they work her into the WrestleMania three-way, and we'll discuss that on the show. I am officially now Thursdays. You know the deal I announced last week on Thursday. You're going to get a rundown and a recap of Evolve by yours truly. Now I am completely up to date on my new favorite WWE show. Move over Monday Night Raw. Move over SmackDown. Move over NXT. Move over Evolve. LFG is where it's at, man. I love me some LFG. It's like tough enough, but on steroids with worse coaches and Mickey James. So I'm gonna talk all about LFG on today's show. The guys yesterday did not discuss anything from Friday Night SmackDown, so we're gonna give you the whole WWE recap from the last 4 or 5-ish days. We got New Japan Cup final because you can't rely on Jeremy or Joel to talk about it tomorrow. I'm gonna give you a thorough breakdown of everything going on in the New Japan Cup. Well, we can count on Jeremy, but Joel will just probably hate on New Japan. So you can count on us to discuss it on today's show. We'll give you a thorough breakdown of what to expect on Thursday for the New Japan Cup final with David Finlay going one-on-one with Shoto Umino. We're going to discuss all of that. We got a jam-packed show, and of course, we'll be not talking about wrestling as always because my Los Angeles Lakers were back on a winning streak, y'all. We can talk about basketball again. We're back on a winning streak, y'all. We back, baby. LeBron's got one more week off, hopefully. Comes back soon. We're gonna talk about that as well, and maybe some reality goodness because I've caught up on Love Is Blind. I don't know if we talked. Yeah, we did. I think we talked about it shortly on Thursday, but not enough for my blood.
We did talk about SmackDown on yesterday's show. I know you asked me off air what we talked about. I was like, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, much less what we talked about on yesterday's show. But we did talk about SmackDown, guys. Leave a thumbs up on the video if you're here. That helps us out. There we go. We got the pyro and ballyhoo going on there. Leave a super chat, get your question, comment, statement right on the air. That also helps us out. Subscribe to the channel, tap the bell for notifications, all that fun stuff. All that stuff helps out the channel, helps out people like myself, people like Joel, people like SP3, people like Kylie and Collins, people like Rob and Maggie, the other people who do the shows on this channel here. So do all that fun stuff. Support us however you can. We appreciate that. Do you want to start with Love Is Blind? Who cares about wrestling? Who could possibly care about?
We got to talk about the real heel turn of Alex from Love Is Blind season 8. He seemed
Which
like
vanilla dude was that?
The vanilla dude who apparently is a pedophile.
Oh yeah, I saw some stuff about him in the post-mortem of Love Is Blonde. So this Love Is Blind stuff is like weeks old at this point because we just haven't talked about it. I've already watched Temptation Island. We watched the whole new season of Temptation Island. We've watched it's called 7 Year Switch. It's on Lifetime. It's a few years old. at this point. It's basically like wife swap, but it's the period is a little bit more elongated, and it's not I don't want to say like it's not just for TV. Like, you know what you were kind of getting with wife swap. Like, the idea behind this is actually like you are trying to work on your marriage. Wife swap was just basically like go live with someone else for a couple of days so you can see how much better you had it. This is actually like, hey, we're trying to show you that there are other people out there, but also work on yourself for your marriage and everything. So it's an interesting concept. Dude, this one dude, his name's Dustin, one of the worst people I've ever seen in reality TV. And that's covering a lot of ground, mind you. But he's god awful. Like, just everything about him. I can't name one redeeming quality about this guy. He's terrible. So he gets his wife swapped with somebody else. This other couple, the girl that he ends up pairing with, she's pretty terrible too. Like, she's not that great of a person either. So like they're kind of made for each other in that way. Like, they would have a super toxic relationship that I would like to watch play out on reality television because they would just
like John Cena and the fans.
Yeah, basically. But 7-year switch, everybody. It's on. I think you can watch it on Freevee, whatever the hell that is. But we discovered that.
We have Freevee.
Yeah, you can watch it on Freevee if you want to check it out. But Love Is Blind. Yeah, this boring ass season. The only thing that was good about it was the reunion, and even that felt cut short because we got to do a musical performance. No one wants to hear this dude sing.
My God, I was like, what are we doing? The musical performance, the horrible top 5 most unforgettable moments.
Oh, that was so dumb. That was so dumb. Bad.
Who voted for that? Who voted for these?
Number 4, Garrett's makeover. What? A makeover is number 4? I didn't remember this thing happening, much less it being a top 5 moment in Love Is Blind history. You have 8 seasons worth of material.
And if you're gonna get anything from season 7, how about freaking Tyler exposing that he's a sperm donor or baby daddy? We still don't know, and they're already broken up. And homie who was sexting at the sleep test. Those are way more memorable from the last season. Way more.
Garrett having a makeover. No one clocked that as anything. This is not a top 100 moment in the show's history. It's like, oh, look at Garrett. He's dressing different because of his wife. It's like, all right, sure. No one was like freaked out or, oh, can you believe Garrett? Oh my God. This was nothing, but apparently it was number 4 on their stupid moments. It's like, yeah, we had to waste time on this. And so they just cut the actual like drama that was going on with Dave and his idiocy. And yeah, the square of Alex, and I'm gonna forget all of them.
Morgan, Mason, and Madison. Madison pulling out the receipts though.
Yeah. She's like, that's all the room I had in my bra. I have more. This is all I had for right now.
Oh my God. But Alex is apparently a creep. And I could tell that from the story that Madison gave us when they did the meetup, when she was like, oh, he acted mad different off the camera. Like, he was like F Mason and all this stuff. I was like, yeah, I believe her. I believe every word she's saying. He seems like that type of guy that's putting on the front for the cameras and then it's totally different off the camera. And apparently it goes even deeper that he used to run basically parties that had drugs and alcohol for teenagers in high school when he was like graduating college. Like, he was like, oh, he's apparently got a long history of pedophilia, and yeah, he's the worst. He's probably the worst person on this season. Everybody else was boring. He's just horrible. He's horrible and boring on camera. Like, maybe if he was himself, at least we could say he's entertaining on a reality show. No, he decided to be someone that he wasn't. That was very boring on camera.
All these people were largely just boring. Like, there was nothing from this season. The only memorable moment from the season was Dave drunkenly trying to explain himself, and what's her name? Molly? Yeah, Molly.
Molly, you're right.
Yeah, Molly just ripping him a new one of like, dude, you suck. Your friends suck. Your parents suck. Everybody apparently sucks because how are you not just like, yeah, meet her. She's great. Lauren, I believe was her name. Like just meet her and everything will work out fine. I do love their friendship, Molly and Lauren. I was like, yeah, at least we got something good out of this dreadful season. Like let these two just go talk down to all these terrible men and set them all straight. That was it. But
and they apparently like spoiled another reality show that we like during this reunion in Perfect Match.
yeah,
Like, oh, don't tell them who wins. Like, if they don't win, if AD and Ollie don't win Perfect Match, then what the hell? Who the hell won Perfect Match? This is the only couple that we know of that's getting married. If they didn't win, it's another horrible winner of Perfect Match like last season.
yeah, the last season was bad. I hope they don't win though, just because they have spoiled it now. It's like, oh well, they get together. Okay, I don't want them to win. I want to be surprised. You know, that season, Perfect Match isn't going to come out for like 2 years anyway. Our last one was so delayed.
They said this season. This summer.
I don't believe them. I don't believe them. I don't believe Netflix. Bunch of liars on Netflix. I don't believe it at all.
This is true. A lot of reality television is just not hitting right now for me. A 90 Day Fiance this season is boring too. It's not as good. I need to catch up. I need to get my missus caught up on The Last Resort, 90 Day Fiance Last Resort, because that's where all the drama is. But we're still in the process of finishing that. I'll give you a rundown of that when I'm done catching my missus up after rewatch episodes, because my missus never decided to watch it because she was like, all these people are broken up. I was like, you need to find out why though. This is the reason. This show is why all these people are broken up. Like, I had to explain that to her, but we're still catching up on there. So yeah, 90 Love is Blind was trash this season. Out of 10, I give it a 3 out of 10, and all 3 points was for the reunion. All 3 points was for the reunion.
Fair. That's still generous. Like, on a Love is Blind scale, maybe it can get worse, but like on a reality television scale, this was one of the worst like reality television seasons I've ever sat through.
This is like up there. My Mount Rushmore of horrible reality television seasons. Well, there's The Challenge, Spies, Lies, and Allies. That's up there for me. I think that's one of the worst seasons of The Challenge like ever. Well, no, or The Challenge, The Island. Either one of those. Either one of those are two of the like most horrible challenge seasons I ever seen. There was the 6th season of Jersey Shore. Oh my god, that was trash. When Snooki is freaking pregnant and can't drink and is staying in a whole nother house, and you could tell that everybody was just tired after all these seasons. That was horrible. But yeah, Love is Blind season 8 might pass all of those for the worst.
Yeah, just boring reality television. Everybody should watch Temptation Island. There's at least drama on that show.
That's right.
Like couples who just can't stand each other, and it's Cheater Island. SP3. They just go there just to cheat on their significant others, and then they get mad when they cheat. Like, what do you mean? But then they get mad like when they cheat, but then they see their significant other cheat. It's like, I can't believe she touched him like that. You slept with somebody. What do you mean you're mad that she touched him?
The double
you
standard
have slept with somebody. Oh yeah, that's what this whole show is. Just a bunch of double standards. All the men on this show, absolutely awful people. There's one like guy who's pretty like seems normal, stable, seems like he's fine. The other 3, terrible fucking people. Just terrible.
Oh yeah, that reminds me from Love is Blind season 8. Well, Joey is a creep too.
Yeah.
Joey. Oh,
apparently
man.
He's dating Sarah. I don't know if you saw that news. Apparently he's dating Sarah. Yeah.
What is going on? This season was messy, but none of it made it to air. Like, what?
Yeah, Monica broke that news. I just read that. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So she didn't want to get with homeboy because he didn't follow her moral standard, and she's gonna go with a guy who was trying to hit on one of her other friends when he was supposed to be engaged.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense. Sarah was very confusing. I was like, you knew who this guy was when you were talking to him in the pods. How did you just decide that? Oh, he's not fitting with my morals, so I had to let him down at the thing. And I'm not saying that Ben was some catch. He was not good. He was not good and ready for a marriage. But Sarah tried to act like he wasn't inquisitive about it. He wasn't asking me enough questions. And I was like, ugh.
I think Ben is just dumb. Like I
Yeah,
think
he's
he's
dumb.
just stupid. Like
I
I
mean, he was
don't.
listening to Jimmy. Jimmy is
Yeah,
who he
that was
actually.
hilarious. That was actually hilarious. Where he's like, or Sarah actually blew that up that it was Jimmy,
Yeah.
but that was actually hilarious. So like, wait a second. Of all the people of the show throughout history, this is the guy you're going to take advice from. Yeah, he's just dumb. There's just not a lot going on in his head. I don't think he's malicious. I don't think he like was lying of what his church's morals were or anything like that. I just think he's legitimately stupid.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I think it is. He's not too bright. He's a dummy, but he wasn't like a horrible person or anything like that. So yeah, and then apparently Devin, who was probably my favorite out of the guys, he's a jerk too. His girl bought him a whole bunch of gifts for his birthday. He was like, "Can't you bring it up yourself?" I
Yeah.
was like, God damn. I was like, yo, Virginia was staying on that man's neck. That man was trying to
Yeah.
give us the PR answers. It's like, I never talk bad about Virginia to this day. I still think she's a great person. It just didn't work out. And she's like, oh, 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 oh. She was like, you told people that I ghosted you. I ghosted you. And then Madison and Molly was like, nope, nope, nope. Yeah, he did say that. He did say that to us. And then Devin was like, you came up to me in a bar, you were drunk,
Yeah.
asking questions you had no business to know. I was like, yo, let's go. And of course, the Lachey's gonna be like, okay, let's
And then
move
they just
on
cut it.
over
Yeah, let's
here.
move on. Like, what do you mean let's move on? No, let him keep talking. Move on to the top 3 moments in Love is Blind history.
She spent the
Jose,
most time on the people that didn't even make it out the pot. On the rectangle, on the love rectangle. She spent more time on that than anything else.
so the wife had a good idea, especially for this boring ass season. For some seasons, like you might not be able to do this, like you don't need to do this. But for this boring ass season, they should have done it. Just send everybody on the vacation to Mexico or wherever after the pods. Like it doesn't matter if they're engaged or not. Just send them there and see what happens. Because if you would have sent Alex and Madison and all of them, like you would have had drama immediately
Yeah,
on this thing. So they should think about that. And they should have done that last season with the I forget their names, but the trophy
Leo, our
wife
boy, our
and
boy, our boy Leo, Leo the goat.
yeah, you know my Rolex. Is it a Rolex? You know how much money I
He's the
have? I don't
goat.
like to talk about my money, but do you know how much money I have?
Leo made me. I appreciated Leo more after watching this season, where no one stood out during the pods. At
Yeah.
least Leo, he was the star of the pod portion of last season.
They should have just sent them to Mexico. It's like, nah, fuck it. Send them. Who cares? Like, you guys can budget for this. Their budget was increased this year. They were using legit songs. They were playing some Miley Cyrus and some Selena Gomez and stuff. I was like, shit, Netflix upped its Love is Blind budget. They got real music here, not this generic bullshit that they always play. Jose asking if we're into Survivor. I don't watch Survivor. I don't know if you do.
I am familiar with Survivor players only because I watched the Traitors.
So that was gonna be my lead in because I knew you watched the Traitors and I watched Traitors as well. We both finished season 3 That wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. I during my sick leave this past couple of weeks, I watched a lot of Traitors, and I went through the entire first season. I've not gone through season 2 yet. I've started season 2, but I'm only like an episode in, so I'm not too deep into it. But I know, like, CT's there, Bananas is there, Trichelle's there from Challenge, and other people that I recognize. But season 3, wrapped, and season 1, I went through all, and I messaged you about season 1. So I knew of Kate from Below Deck. She was Chief Stew on Below Deck. Absolute, like, amazing reality TV on Below Deck, because she just didn't take shit. Like, whether it was the captain. So the captain on the boat was Captain Lee. And Captain Lee very much like favored her, because he's like, I know she gets the job done. Like, there's nothing, like, Kate is going to get the job done no matter what. So yeah, she might be bitchy to her crewmates. She might be bitchy to some of the guests, but she's going to get the job done. So Captain Lee would like always favor her and side with her on anything, but she like used it to a little bit to her advantage. Like, she knows she can get away with stuff. She was amazing though on Below Deck. So I was very excited to see her in this setting with like these people and this type of game and everything. Oh, she did not disappoint. She did not disappoint at all.
The confessional
MVP.
queen of season 1. The confessional queen. She was so good. But that's like it's like a 2-part story with season 1 of Traitors USA, where it's like Kate is like the star because of her nonchalant attitude towards pretty much everything, and always getting it wrong with who she thinks is the traitors. And her rivalry with Rachel Riley from Big Brother was awesome as well. But the other part was we will never, and now I'm convinced after watching Traitors season 3, we will never have a better traitor than Siri Fields. Siri Fields puts on a masterclass. Had these people the reveal of her being the traitor at the end and taking all the money. Oh my God, I've never laughed so much at these people's reactions.
So here's what I didn't get about the season 3 finale. Now that I didn't understand it, but yeah, they're all 4 around the fire, and they do the gems and everything. And she votes red because she thinks they're still a traitor. Why did Ari quit so easily? Like, that's what confused me. And they didn't fully get into it in the reunion, or if they did, I just completely forgot or misremembered. But I was like, why is he backing out? Like, if I'm him, I'd stand ground a little bit, or at least like try to cast doubt elsewhere and like force them to make a decision to get rid of me. But him just backing out that way, I'm like, oh dude, what are you doing? Like, you gotta make them force you out of this thing. I did notice that when he left, and they did bring this up in the reunion, when he's like, oh, good luck guys, good luck. I was like, oh, he's trying to tell y'all without telling y'all as he leaves. But I do imagine, like, in the moment, they are so caught up in thinking, like, but yeah, if I'm the other two, I'm thinking, like, why would she vote that? Like, how did she know? Why would he give up so easily? Hold on, something's still not adding up here. But they were clearly very blinded and just like, oh, we're going to win more money now. And that was that. So, but yeah, that finale, I was like, oh, y'all are dumb right now. Y'all are giving it up too easy right now.
I think in the reunion he says that they cut the speech that Siri gives them when she's like, you know, I have a family that I have to look out there. You know, some of us are already well off, because I think Ari comes from like The Bachelor, so he's like well off. He's kind of comes from a fluent family, but everybody else did. Like, that's what makes it so good. It's so well done by Siri. Like, she had everyone convinced. Everyone was was so loyal to her. Even Ari at the end. Ari thought that she was gonna split the money with him, but she was like, nah, you wasn't with me from the beginning. You wasn't a trainer from the beginning.
That was cold. That was so cold.
I loved it.
Too.
I loved it, especially after seeing the end. Because season 3, I think overall is the out of, and I've seen all 3 seasons of the UK now. I've seen all the both seasons of Australia. I've seen a little bit of New Zealand, but I haven't finished that season. But out of like the 8 seasons of Traitors, I think the most entertaining is season 3 US. But it has probably the worst ending. Because I'm sorry, it's so anticlimactic. There's 4 people left, and y'all all just say end game. Like, what?
Yeah.
Y'all want to split? It's not even the full pot. It's not even the full pot. Y'all all want to split it. Oh, this was like, oh man. I was like, damn, they ruined this for me. Like, why'd you have to do it like this? I was like, all the drama in the last episode is at the beginning when it's revealed that Brittany has betrayed Danielle again, and then Danielle just basically tells the rest of the faithful that Brittany is a traitor as well. So it's all over pretty much at the beginning of the episode. So that was a letdown for what was probably one of the most entertaining seasons of reality television I've ever watched. I don't think I've ever seen a reality television season have that many viral moments like that you could just name off the top of your head and you know what I'm talking about. Dylan versus Bob the drag queen. Oh, welcome Misguided to the stage, and then him basically dissing Zac Efron. Oh, I live with an actor, not a good one. Oh, that's not nice. Like, there's so many quotable moments in this season. Danielle versus Caroline, the 2 times at the round table. The round table became like a boxing match, like a WWE main event matchup where you're on the edge of your seat every episode. Every time you hear the song, to the twilight nights, to the shadows will go, and they walk in the room, you're like, oh, here we go. Boston Rob versus Bob the drag queen, when he exposes him, when Derek gives you a whole detective breakdown, like, this is why Bob right here, he got rid of Boston Rob right here, he got rid of Bob the drag queen, and then Bob Harper was killed, and that was right after Bob Harper mentioned Boston Rob, and then the faithful still vote for West. Like, yo, it's so, there's so many great moments in season 3, like, but then it's ruined by the end of the season. Like, it's probably a 10 out of 10 season with like a 4 out of 10 finale. So it bottoms out to like 8.5, 8 out of 10 for the whole season. It's kind of like it's basically the reality television version of AEW Revolution 2025. That's what season 3 of Traitors is. It's basically a fantastic all-timer season let down by its finale. Like, I was so disappointed by that. But season 1, I felt season 1 probably may be like the most consistent, because it's very much more akin to like the UK Traitors, because UK Traitors, it's nothing but real people. It's not reality television stars that are coming on like the last 2 seasons of US. It was season 1 is a mix of reality television stars and real people. So I like that. I like Christian and his overzealousness as a traitor.
He was fantastic. He was fantastic with, I did not get his stupid, like, oh yeah, the Traitors tried to recruit me. I was like, what are you doing, dude? What do you mean they tried to recruit you? And then you said no and they just let you live? What? Absolutely not. This would not happen at all. Yeah, he made some dumb gameplay moves, but he was very entertaining though. Super entertaining as just a reality person.
And Cody was not what I thought he would be on this.
Cody was disappointing. Like, knowing him from Big Brother and everything, I was like, wait, huh? This is not the Cody I remember from Big Brother. But I did like the mix of everything, because the one person, I forget who they were, and I'm gonna get the thing wrong, but they were like, oh yeah, I'm not like a real estate agent. I actually do like this. I was like, oh, that's cool. That like the normal people are basically giving a cover of what they do, so that way they can change their story up. Because if you're from reality TV, like, everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows like your game. But like normal people going in there, you could like lie and be like, oh, I got like 5 kids I gotta support. Like, you know, like you could give some nice little sob story and everything. Like, you can bullshit your way through that. It's like, that would be, so I like that about season 1 too, is that it was like a mix of normal people and reality people. I wish they would like kind of go back to that in they didn't do it. It doesn't look like they did for season 2. They didn't do it for season 3. So I hope they maybe season 4 they'll bring it back. But I do like that it was like that mixture of normal people and celebrities, because yeah, the celebrities might have like a link together, but then maybe the normal people want to stay together. And yeah, given like a fake backstory and shit would be like really deceiving tactics. So I hope they do go back to that.
Yeah, that was probably the thing I liked the most about season 1, is that it's a mix of people. But yeah, I still hear when I look at like Traitors kind of inside a community online, I heard Andy is still upset with Siri lying to her as the traitor. She's still salty to this day. It's been like 3 years.
I mean, fair. Like she seemed really like she was devastated like when it
Yeah,
happened in this scene, and then yeah, the reunion, she was super devastated about it. No, she played such a good game though, because I'm with you. Because so watching season 3 first, so I've watched it out of order. Yeah, the finale on season 3, I'm like, oh, they're just gonna end it. That's gonna be that. Yeah, it was very anticlimactic. It's like, okay, well, they won. Good on them. You know, they
yeah.
figured it
I
all
was
out. Like,
I was like, that is the appropriate ending after we had the biggest Traitors bloodbath of all time
yeah,
on season 3.
yeah. But yeah, then going back and watching season 1, I was like, oh, that's how you like be a traitor right there. Because the traitors on season 3, they just all turned against each other. I was like, you guys aren't doing this too well. I don't think, like, you're just outing yourselves on this. But season 1, they were very deceiving, because the only like no one had anything on Sari, and then Cody kind of gave himself away too much, and then
Yeah.
Christian really gave himself away. It was baffling that like yeah, when Christian did that whole thing, like they moved past it so quickly that episode. I'm like, oh, you gotta be on him about this. But yeah, Sari played it very well. So I'm very interested to see how season 2 plays out. Since I'm only like an episode in, so I'm not exactly sure how it goes. But yeah, Traitors, everybody. You
Best
should watch
reality
it.
show out there.
It's
Right
really
now.
good. Yeah, it's really good. All right. I guess we can. Speaking of Traitors, John Cena. John Cena comes out. Not new music, not a new look, nothing like that. Time is now hits. He doesn't beat up Stu. I thought that was a missed opportunity. He should have kicked the shit out of Stu. Large boos from the Brussels crowd. They did the John Cena sucks chant to his music, which is why I thought they would keep the music. I was like, oh, they want the John Cena sucks chant there. And he said, for 25 years, I've been in an abusive relationship. All you guys have done is take and take and take. No matter what I did, it would only last a moment. I tried to work harder. I tried to win and win and win and win and win and win and win. It's like I
It
won a
was
lot.
never enough.
I won a lot, and it was never enough. All you guys just wanted to take from me. He said, he's been in a toxic relationship for 25 years. And all the people that said, John Cena sucks, you've made your side very clear. The people who chant "Let's go Cena," though, you're not really supportive. You actually took from me by taking this merchandise and wearing this merchandise. You're not supportive at all. I live hustle, loyalty, respect. I live never give up. You just show it. It's out there trying to act like you've accomplished something. You wanted to do a farewell tour, and you guys were happy for a little bit, but then it was, again, not enough. Nothing was ever enough. No one asked him how he feels. No one asked John Cena how he feels. He's not a baby face. He's not a heel. He's a human being.
That touched me.
And you get no music, no new music. You get no new look. You get nothing. You made invisible jokes for 15 years. You think it's funny. It's not funny. It's pathetic. You live your life, a pathetic life, and you think you have hustle, loyalty, respect, and never give up. But really, all you've done is sit on your ass and watch me be great. He said, I'm breaking up with all of you. I'm getting out of this relationship.
That kid right there, the John Cena breakup kid. That poor kid. He's now the John Cena breakup kid. That kid is going to be a star. He needs to be in conventions and everything.
He said, I'm getting out of this relationship because I'm right and you're wrong. Cody Rhodes comes out and he says, dude, this dude sucks. Who is this guy? Where is John Cena? I'm looking for...
Where's the guy in the shirt?
He said, I know you call yourself the boy, but where's the man? Because I ain't seen him yet. Said, go find
him yet? I'll bleed him, bet.
Said, go find John Cena. Because that's who I want to wrestle at WrestleMania 41. Not this whiny bitch. And then Cody left and Cena left. And that was the segment. What'd you make of this segment, SP3?
I thought it was an outstanding segment. I don't know if it was very much. I think it was very much elevated by the Brussels crowd and their reaction to everything, because they really probably gave WWE the type of nuclear hot reaction that they wanted here. John Cena went out there and cut a kind of "you people" promo, but it was a great you people promo. I've even heard one of my co-hosts on one of these shows say it was the greatest "you people" promo of all time, and one of my other co-hosts said the KKK has something to say about that. But it was one of the better "you people" promos that we've seen in recent memory, because a lot of it is it's more about the 10-year period from when he becomes a top star in 2005 all the way up until like 2015, where he was kind of given this negative reaction that these people gave him the worst. So I like the fact that he ripped into the fans, kind of said that this has been a toxic relationship, and you could hear the emotion. This is probably a promo that John Cena has had in his head for years. So I did love that part of it. My only nitpicks, the only stuff I didn't like, is that he did not address his alliance with The Rock at all, did not address the Elimination Chamber angle at all, did not address his quest for number 17, which I thought was the real catalyst for him moving to the dark side and selling his soul. I thought that was the main catalyst. I didn't think it was his relationship with the fans, because for the most part, if you really think about it, the last maybe 10 years, but definitely the last 5 years where he's been a part-time elder statesman, these fans have been universally loving him. They've loved him. And when he announced his retirement, he was greeted with all these chants, and they loved him so much for it, and they were ready to cheer him for this last run. So I wish he would have addressed it from that point of view, from like, oh, everything's been good the last couple of years, but I never forgot. If he would have added something like that, like, I never forgot how y'all treated me, so it does not matter that y'all cheered me the last couple of times, that y'all wanted to cheer me on my way out. You were just gonna take from me and take my valuable time. I could be in Hollywood right now making movies, and if you would have added something like that, I think that this would have been a 10 out of 10. Or one of, like, I see a lot of the pro WWE Twitter accounts calling this one of the greatest opening segments of all time. I won't go that far, but this was an outstanding. This was a 4.5 star, 4 3/4 star segment. It was not a 5 star, a perfect segment. I think, like I said, those little tie up, those little loose ends, those nitpicks. And yes, they have 4 more weeks of television for them to kind of address the Rock Association, the Travis Scott Association, the Elimination Chamber angle, and everything like that. But I felt like, especially when Cody comes out, one of these people should mention, Cody Cody kind of vaguely mentions that he took his best shot and he's still standing up. You were not standing up at Elimination Chamber, so that's a lie, sir. So like that whole thing, I think that if they would have addressed that a little bit more, then this is a 5-star perfect segment. But otherwise, the environment, the atmosphere was top notch. That was a 5 out of 5, 5-star type of atmosphere and crowd for this. I thought the material in which Cena says it could have been a little bit better to add a little bit more punch. But as far as Cena addressing the fans, this was outstanding. I thought this was a great segment and a money segment that it does set this Cody Cena up to be the centerpiece of the entire road to WrestleMania.
I'm with you on the criticisms, and my hope is that they will get addressed in the coming weeks. But it was still a missed point for the first segment. Like everything Cena said was very valid in him being a heel. It still didn't address like why the time was now to do it and why The Rock, why change what you are already doing and to go after 17, to go after Cody, and what The Rock said that made this difference. Because the fans have been treating him like this for years. Yeah, outside of the basically nostalgia runs when he's come back the past few years, like every single time it's been like this. Even when he was coming back for the early nostalgia stuff, they were still doing the John Cena sucks, and Cena's like, it's like endearment at this point.
Yeah.
Like, they do it kind of like the Kurt Angle you suck chance. Like, it's endearment. Like, it's just part of who I am. But so all of that was like valid. But again, like why now? Why in your farewell tour is this the time that you are going to do it? And why associate with The Rock? And that was the 2 points that weren't addressed. He addressed the history of everything. And he addressed it fantastically. There's 25 years to play off of. Like, there was a very easy way to go about this. And they went about it in a very good way. You people promo or not, like you were saying, like might be the best you people promo of all time, but you've got 25 years of you people to play off of. You got 25 years of the biggest babyface in the company to play off of now going heel. So the you people stuff makes some sense. But yeah, the loose ends of the Rock association and why now in the farewell tour were not addressed. And hopefully we get that in the coming weeks. I imagine we will. I did like Cody's response. I like that Cody came out there and just had fire immediately instead of asking, because Cody could have asked why'd you do it now? Like why did you sell your soul to The Rock? Why couldn't you stand up to him like I did? And maybe Cody will ask that in the coming weeks, and that's how we get answers to these things. But I like that Cody was sitting back there for 20 minutes. He's like, dude, just fucking complaining this whole time? Okay. All right, let me come out there and let me just be like, this dude, I don't want this dude. I don't want this dude who's going to complain about the fans. I want Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, Mr. Never Give Up, Mr. 16-time world champion. I don't want this whiny bitch at WrestleMania. Go find me the man. That's who I want to talk to. That's who I want to wrestle. Well, I like that Cody's part came out there. And when Cena was like, listen, kid, and Cody's like, enough. Like, I'm not a kid. No, I like that. I like that Cody had the fire and did not just get trucked by Cena on the mic, or did not come out there being an old dork whimpering of like, why, Cena? Why'd you do this? Why'd you make this kid cry and that kid cry? Why'd you put up with it for 25 on your farewell tour? You're going to do this to the fans when they have loved you. I don't need all that. So I like Cody's portion just as much as I like Cena's portion.
Yeah, I thought that Cena's portion is a top 5. When you just look at it in a vacuum, it's a top 5 John Cena promo, in my opinion. You're gonna remember that promo in Brussels and him ripping into the fans after 25 years or 20 years of this toxic relationship. But I agree with you. I liked Cody's fire. I like Cody coming out here and being like, I'm not even gonna let you speak. You call me a kid. Enough. Enough. I'm not a kid. I'm the WWE champion. And I don't want to face this John Cena. I want to face the guy on the shirt. So you better take your time. I was looking forward to going face to face, back and forth with John Cena on the road to WrestleMania, but this ain't him. So you better go find John Cena and not this whiny bitch. And then threw the mic at him as he walked away. That was the type of like Cody response that I wanted, that I got here. And that's why I said, like, this was an outstanding segment, and it was a money generating segment. You're gonna hear the crowd in Scotland try to outdo the crowd in Brussels next week when they go face to face next week, and they'll have to switch it up. Of course, as the weeks go along, I might be going to the Raw in London, England, and I hope they're on. I think John Cena is going to be on that show, so I hope we get something else there as well. So yeah, this was a great kind of start, and I thought that WWE did a good job of filling in the weeks as far as like keeping us, keeping up, making sure we remember John Cena turned heel. We're waiting on John Cena to come back. Cody was pretty much has been on both shows over the last couple of weeks. I thought last week's Raw, like I said last time when we were on here last Tuesday, I thought last week's Raw could have been an email because it was all just for Cody to set up Cena being on this week's show, and we basically got a promo that could have been an email on this show with Seth Rollins. But like, this was an actual road to WrestleMania type segment, a hot, great crowd. I thought the Brussels crowd is like a top 10 Monday Night Raw or even top 10 WWE TV crowd of all time, just for that one segment. And like you said, it was a half an hour. It was like 20 minutes of John Cena getting that big reaction, the "you suck" chants, Cena, you fucking bitch chants. Like, he was getting it all. He was getting ripped into by the fans, but he gave it back as much as he was taking it. So that's why I enjoyed this segment so much. And that's why, like I said, I have a little bit of nitpicks. There's a little bit of stuff that I would have adjusted to make this a perfect segment. Like you said, they could have addressed the Rock portion, and he doesn't even have to give all the answers, but at least give us something to explain instead of just ripping into the fans, because that doesn't explain why you turned heel. It explains why you're done with the fans. It explains why you're ending this toxic relationship with the fans. But why, like you said, why is it right now? Why during your farewell tour? Why did you not only turn heel, but why did you align with The Rock? Why did you attack Cody the way you did? He didn't even address winning the Elimination Chamber. He didn't even address going to WrestleMania at all. Like, it was Cody who brought up that we're going to meet at WrestleMania and kind of got it refocused back on that. This was just Cena ripping into the fans. So I liked it for that. And I like this segment overall. I love this segment overall. I thought this was one of the better segments that we're going to remember from this road to WrestleMania.
If I would be, since it's a couple super chats saying "you people promo," everyone asked him how he felt. I yawned watching this, but it was also 2 a.m. for me.
Hey, it was nice and early. It started at 7 p.m. for me. It was nice and early.
And Vellaby also says, all in all, fine speech, Cena. I love that this show started at 3:00 and it was done by 5:30. I was like, oh, this is so nice. I have to sit around and watch Raw tonight.
It wasn't even done by 5:30. It was done by like 5:20. It was like 5:20 when they did the final stare down with Penta and Bron. I was like, man, this might be one of the best Raw episodes ever.
Yeah, I was so happy when this thing was done by 5:30. But yeah, you're right. It was more like 5:20. I was like, great, fantastic. We need more of this. I always love the afternoon shows when they're like overseas for the pay-per-views and stuff, and the shows start at like 2:00 and they're over by 5:00 or so. I was like, oh, this is so nice. So nice. But yeah, overall, good start to the Cena and Cody interactions. They'll both be on Raw next week, even though Cody's the champion on SmackDown. Doesn't really matter. This is now a Raw program because the brand split is a lie. The draft is a lie. It's all a lie. We still some loose ends, like we both mentioned, but they got a few weeks to still piece all of that together, and we'll see how they do it.
4 more episodes of Monday Night Raw before we get to WrestleMania. So They got plenty of time to address it, but this, like you said, was a fantastic start to their road to WrestleMania, and we saw some other good like builds to WrestleMania or some stuff trying to kind of position itself on this episode.
Well,
To go back.
real quickly, I imagine The Rock shows up when they're back in the States. I don't know if he's going to be part of the overseas stuff, but I have to imagine he shows up before WrestleMania. It would actually be hilarious if he just doesn't. It'd be so, excuse me. It would be so funny if they just don't mention The Rock. Just the whole time. Cena talks all this. He even explains like why he does it now, but he just never says The Rock's name.
He'd be like, yeah, the final boss. They don't even name him by name. They just call him the final boss always. And he's like the.
They don't
even
do
like
that.
They don't. No, he's like Voldemort. They don't mention the final boss at all.
Yeah, they don't say the final boss. They don't say The Rock. They don't say Travis Scott. They don't even say Elimination Chamber. They just say, you know what you did. You know who you aligned with. That's it. That's all they do.
You know who I aligned with. You know who did it. You know who I sold my soul to. I don't need to say his name. That would be perfect. I would like. There's a lot of material for them to kind of go over. We're gonna need some type of physical interaction between the two of them as well. I don't know if that happens on the European tour. I would love for that to happen in London when they're in London, because I'm gonna be live. I might be live for that show. I'm definitely going to the London SmackDown in 2 weeks. A week from this Friday. I'm going with the good brother Alex McCarthy. Shout out to AMAC, Alex McCarthy, Jeremy's favorite person in the world.
Boo. I said boo.
I'm gonna meet up. I'm gonna meet up with him for some Nando's, and we're going to SmackDown together.
Give Alex McCarthy a big hug, and then just say to him, "Jeremy says fuck you," and that's it. And then break the hug.
I'm gonna record it where I'll be like, and then no, we need to edit it where I'm hugging him, and then I'm hugging him with a smile, and I look up and I make the face, and then you just record yourself doing this. Giving me the signal.
This coughing fit's killing me. I apologize.
I try to fill in for you, good brother.
I appreciate it. Like I'm trying to like speak, and then like my throat just like closes up. Now you can like hear it. Now it sounds terrible. Like
it's okay. It's okay, good brother. He's gonna be all right. I trust he's gonna be all right, folks. But yeah, it was a really well done segment last night. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do next week in Scotland. That Scotland crowd should be another hot one for WWE. And they got an interesting card already. I see people in the chat mentioning that we might be seeing somebody's Raw debut next week. So who knows what's going to happen there. But I'm more interested on what they're going to do. And is Cena and Cody going to open up next week's show, or are they going to be the main event? You know, they're only going to be doing opening or closing. I don't know if they're going to be doing top of the second hour or top of the, or like, yeah, they don't really do top of the second hour, top of the third hour, because it's only a 2.5 hour show at best. So like the promo before the main event is usually to introduce that the next segment is the main event. That's why Seth Rollins' promo that could have been an email was basically like that, where he basically let the fans down. The fans were so into that segment at the beginning. They sang throughout the entire ad break his song, only for him to disappoint them and then them quiet down, because he said, "Oh no, I'm really going to be doing something on SmackDown in Italy." And they're like, "Oh." And then he had to be like, "Hey guys, come on, let's get up for the main event."
That's 2 straight shows where first it was Heyman, that was Seth, of like, yeah, tune into SmackDown on Friday. Not this show. This show here, don't worry about that. The show you're watching right now, no, Roman Reigns is going to be on the show next week. The show you're watching right now, no, me, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk are going to be on Friday's show. Those are the important shows you need to watch. Don't worry about this show. They gotta do a better job with that. You got to give the live audience something with those promos. That's not, hey, yeah, next week or this Friday is the show that you should be paying attention to, not what's going on right now. But yeah, Seth's promo, I like that it could have been an email because he didn't say anything outside of, I'm going to be on Friday's SmackDown. Like, he could have dug into Punk and Roman a little bit. So they actually got some material out of his promo. Yeah, it was just, I'll say everything on Friday. It's like, okay, you could have just put that on a graphic that Seth Rollins would be on SmackDown on Friday.
You could have just done a pre-tape. That could have been a pre-tape. Like, well, what are we doing? Why are we wasting time on this show with Seth coming out to just get his song sang for like 5 minutes, way too long, that annoying ass song, and then him just say absolutely nothing except for, I'll be on SmackDown for me and Roman and Punk to set up our WrestleMania match, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much.
I'm going to bury the Brussels fans right now, even though they were great and, you know, they carried a lot of the show yesterday. I'm going to bury them. I'm going to bury all WWE fans right now. All you bootlicking Pavlov dog fans out there. That's right. When Seth Rollins was like, yeah, we got a great main event now, but first sing my song, they should have booed. They should have been like, no. They should have sang a different song. Instead, they were like, oh, yeah, even though that was a disappointing segment, Seth told us to sing. We're going to sing. Seth is puppeteering. We're just going to sing like Seth asked. They should have booed. Cowards. Like, the Brussels fans are cowards. All you WWE fans who are sitting at home singing to your TV, cowards and sheep and Pavlov's dog.
To be fair to the Brussels fans, to be fair to the Spain fans, because I said this for the Spain crowd on Friday, that these people pay insurmountable prices to be in that building. So WWE could pretty much shower them in shit, and they would probably cheer for it. Because that Spain crowd on Friday, this is why I wanted to mention Friday Night SmackDown, because I don't feel like y'all ripped into this too much yesterday from what I heard. Oh my God. Charlotte Flair versus BFAB was not a good matchup. And then the first brawl that they did was so bad, Triple H said, go out there and do it again. Oh my God. This Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton rivalry is the worst thing going into WrestleMania right now. Can we all just admit this? Like, I know there's Charlotte Flair fans out there. I know Jeremy's bow down. He's all of that. But, like, I have to deal with Romeo, who's the biggest Charlotte Flair fan, and he'll never admit it. He'll never admit how trash this whole rivalry is. He tries his best to try to blame it all on Tiffany Stratton. But it's a company problem. It's the bookings problem. It is Triple H's fault for all of this, because Triple H thought Charlotte Flair was going to come back and be a babyface. That's why she cuts the promo that she did after the Royal Rumble. But they figured out from that promo and from the reaction that she got that she could not be the babyface here and that the crowd wants to boo her. So then they decide, hey, we've been playing around, we've been teasing, we've been honey-dicking this whole Tiffany Stratton babyface turn. You know what? We're going to do it. But we're not really going to do it because we don't know how to book a babyface Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton, when the bell rings, she's a great babyface. When she's doing brawls, she can do flips and high jumps and stuff and get pops from the crowd. These sheep in Spain were chanting, "This is awesome," after all she did was a senton, which she completely misses Charlotte Flair because Charlotte Flair got the hell out of the way and still fell. Oh my God, that was horrible. It was everything about that segment was horrible. And I see people in the chat, I see David Cox saying Jay versus Gunther is close. It's not as bad as Tiffany and Charlotte. No. We had 4 straight weeks of Gunther and Jay giving us a good build. But guess what? Gunther and Jay is a 4-week build that they have to stretch out for 12 weeks. I don't know. I don't know if they had 4 weeks of material for Tiffany and Charlotte. We got 5 more SmackDowns before WrestleMania, and I don't know what they do except for Triple H's basically blade glass in case of emergency angle that he does for every feud. A pull apart brawl. He relies on pull apart brawls like Tony Khan relies on announcements. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, Gato relies on multi-man tags. This is horrible. This is horrible. Like, the CMLL booker relies on the Arena Mexico crowd. Like, he relies on pull-apart brawls, like, ridiculously. It's not even funny. Like, he just, every time he wants to do something, pull apart brawl. See, hey, see, everybody's happy. See, I'm booking something great. No, it's not. This whole Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton, you have put no creative into it. Charlotte Flair is giving us the bare minimum. That whole match with B-Fab was in slow motion. And how did Charlotte Flair look worse than B-Fab during that matchup? Like, what? B-Fab, who has what, like 10 matches on TV under her belt? Maybe that. I don't even know if it's that many. Maybe 10 matches, and half of them has probably been battle royals or multi-woman tags or tag team matches. But yet Charlotte Flair looked worse in that matchup. I watched that matchup and I was like, oh man, I don't know who got less knees. Tetsuya Naito, Hiroshi Tanahashi, or Charlotte Flair. Like, oh my God. She got no knees, and I hope that she can turn it on like Hiroshi Tanahashi in the Tokyo Dome at WrestleMania, but this was not a good look. First of all, why are you putting her in the ring with B-Fab? You wanted to look good in her first singles match since December of 2023. Why are we putting her in the ring with the least experienced woman on the roster? Yes, least experienced in a roster that has Maxine Dupree. B-Fab is less experienced than Maxine Dupree. That is outrageous. You are not doing Charlotte or Tiffany Stratton any favors. And I love Tiffany myself, LAB Glass. I'm a huge fan of Tiffany. I've been shooting in, go back to Wrestle Talk Podcast YouTube channel and go back to 2022 when Tiffany Stratton first debuted. That was back when me and Sadie Yankee every Wednesday were reviewing NXT 2.0. And I used to do quote for quote every word of Tiffany Stratton's promos in her voice because I knew from that point she was a great character. Even though it was a cheesy character, she was performing it so well of the daddy's rich girl kind of character. I loved her then. I've loved her now. And like I said, when the bell rings, she knows how to work as a babyface. But this feud has done no one favors. No one favors here.
We did talk about the Tiffany and Charlotte stuff, and I agree. Like the brawl over alliance from Triple H, and this one, they're both wearing pink. Couldn't tell who was getting the better of who when they were tied up a lot. Tiffany missed on her dive. She just dominoed Charlotte over. It's like, all right, that's not super effective. I think there's material when they get on the mic. I think there's material for both of them. They're showing a little bit on Twitter right now. They're going back and forth a little on Twitter. I think there's material when they get on the mic. The thing I worried about, and I mentioned yesterday, Tiffany's got to step up and actually bring that stuff out on the microphone. And I don't know if she's going to, and I don't know how Charlotte's going to respond. And Charlotte might just completely step all over her promo and just knock her down a peg with everything. So I think there can be some good stuff when they do get on the mic, and because we haven't seen anything. Like Tiffany did the one promo after the challenge was first laid out, and it was very short, and it was like, oh, okay, you mentioned the hair and how you're a better version than her. Okay. Like there's more there. There's way more there. Will they do it? Will Charlotte immediately undercut it? Don't know. And because right now Charlotte's gotten like she stood tall on Tiffany the entire time. I know Tiffany technically stood tall on SmackDown. I didn't feel like that big of a victory when you just knock over a bunch of security off of the dive. Like, it was a cool moment. It looked cool. It's a nice visual, but it's like you didn't actually get the better of her during all of this. Not like she's gotten the better of you where she's attacking you and laying you out and sitting over you on her chair and being like the queen chooses you. Like, she is been made to look up here in all of the brawls, and you were kind of like here in the one brawl, and that was it. But yeah, this feud right now, you know, we talked about it yesterday. Of Charlotte doesn't seem that interested in it, and I don't think she's not interested in it from facing Tiffany, because I think she wants to face Tiffany. Like I mentioned yesterday, I think Charlotte believes, and we know this, she believes she's a main event match every single time, which more power to her. She should feel that way. Honestly, I think everybody should feel that way. And right now, this is not a main event level match. And on television, Charlotte comes off a little disinterested in the feud, especially that commentary run where she was given nothing. Like, what? You gotta sell this a little bit. You gotta make me believe a little bit here. But she comes off very disinterested on television. Look, maybe that's what she's going for. I don't know. That is just how I view it from what I see on TV. Is she seems disinterested in this whole thing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she really cares about this whole thing. And like the biggest problem to me, like I said, I don't think it's a Charlotte or a Tiffany problem, more or less. I think that it's more the problem of the booking has given them nothing to really work with either. Like they're not spending their time crafting out these angles to get people excited like they're doing for the Women's World Championship matchup at WrestleMania. Like between the angle in Madison Square Garden with Bianca and Rhea getting in each other's face and trying to push Io aside, and Io demanding respect by slapping the taste out of them. And then last night with them redoing the WrestleMania 20 World Heavyweight Championship triple threat contract signing with basically Rhea Ripley playing the role of Shawn Michaels and signing her name on a contract that didn't have her name on it in the first place. That was entertaining. That's at least entertaining. It's three well-defined characters. You even got a little bit of heat on Bianca for Bianca saying that she's going to take the Women's World Championship. I really wish they would have taken what Rhea Ripley. Obviously, this was Rhea improvisation with that whole promo she did following losing the world championship 2 weeks ago, because they have not done that character at all the past 2 weeks. They totally dropped that part of the character, and now she's just angry Rhea Ripley who feels screwed over and kind of pushed to the side by Bianca Belair being involved in this title match. And they're still trying to push Io's side, but Io comes off like the baby face that the crowd wants to rally behind, because it feels like these two mega stars are trying to push her out the way even though she's the champion. So it's a cool story, a cool dynamic there where you want to root for Io. Bianca's gonna still have her fans, and Rhea Ripley might be the most over talent in WWE, not named Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns or CM Punk. She's in that top 4, top 5 range of the most over acts in WWE. That insane pop she got from Brussels yesterday was awesome. But like that was a good segment that got y'all excited, and you're like wondering, you're asking questions coming out of it, is like, how is Rhea gonna be involved in this? Is it gonna be Io giving her the title shot because she signed her name on the contract, kind of in a redemption for her, basically Rhea giving her the title match when she didn't have to? Io doesn't have to ask for Rhea to be in the match, but she does because she feels like she's been disrespected by Rhea and beaten down by Rhea last night. So now she wants her to be in the match. Is it Bianca that demands for her to be in the match? Is Rhea going to have to fight to make her way into the matchup? There's so many different directions that you can go with there, but you're not asking any of those questions for Charlotte and Tiffany. You're like, when is it Mania so we can see if this is actually going to be good? That's where we're at with that. Like
So
it's very obvious to see the issues with Jay and Gunther is that it's a 4-week storyline that they have to extend for 3 months. But Tiffany and Charlotte had so many issues, but it all comes down to the booking.
here's my issue with the Rhea stuff. You mentioned defined characters. I don't think Rhea Ripley's a babyface right now. She gets huge reactions. That's undeniable. She's being kind of a little bitch right now, for being honest. Like,
Yeah.
you lost. You lost because you were mad that Bianca was cheering for Io. And you got yourself distracted and you got hit with a Hurricane Rana and then a moonsault and you lost the match. Step aside. Sorry. You don't just get to come out here and take the contract and sign the contract. I know they're doing the WrestleMania 20 rehash, but we got to remember WrestleMania 20 and how that all led. Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they went to a double finish in what, the last man standing match at Royal
Rumble. They went
yes.
to a double knockout finish in the last man standing match.
Yes. So at least Shawn Michaels has a claim of he did not beat me. We were both knocked down. He did not beat me at the Royal Rumble. I feel I deserve this title match. And then Stevie Richards was like, no, I won the Royal Rumble, so you're not getting it. And so Shawn Michaels super kicked Stevie Richards and signed the contract.
We're doing the WrestleMania 2000 video game.
So that's what happened there. But this, there was no double finish. You lost your title to Io Sky. You got to step aside. You got to figure out a way to earn it other way. Otherwise, you just come out here and you look like you look like somebody. Valaby said Australian Karen. That's what it looked like. Yelling at Adam Pearce. It's official. I can do this. It's a signed document. It's a legal document. It's like, no. Why would Adam Pearce acknowledge this at all? So that's my complaint with this. Is I don't think Rhea comes off looking well in this. And look, if it's designed for her to be a heel, then it's very effective. But I don't feel like that's the design for this.
That's why I think it is a well-defined character, because this is her character trait. She's very irrational. She's very complaining off of stuff. That's the kind of the character that they've established for her ever since the title match. I'm like, I told you after the title match that I was annoyed with the way that Rhea got distracted off of Bianca just cheering for Io, and I thought that they were going to go in the direction that followed up from her promo. But I also said after that promo, I was like, they got to replay that on the following week. They did not do that, and they have basically just ignored that with the way that her character has gone across things. But it's funny enough, though, that Bianca, just playing kind of the same character she's been playing, is the one that's getting the most heat out of everybody in this whole thing, because it does, even though, to us, rational-minded fans, it does not feel like Bianca cost Rhea anything, but Rhea has done such a great job with her fan base of making them believe that Bianca feels like the person that has pushed her way into things, even though she earned this opportunity by winning the Elimination Chamber. So I can see why people would be behind Rhea and feel like she's been wronged by Bianca. She deserves to be in this matchup. I understand why the Bianca fans would be like, she earned this opportunity. It should be a one-on-one matchup. She should be the one to go on to beat Io Sky at WrestleMania. And for Io, I can understand why the Io fans are like, no, she deserves more respect. She won the title. She's the champion going into WrestleMania for back-to-back years. She needs to win at WrestleMania. So I feel that's why I said it's well defined, because I think that everyone has their argument and why their fans are going to go for them.
I agree that they're well defined in that aspect. If I'm a Rhea fan, I'm not super thrilled with how this is playing out, because Rhea just comes off way too whiny and like way too, whiny is just the word. Is you lost because you of your own volition. Io didn't cheat to win. This isn't a Liv Morgan situation where Raquel was interfering, where Dom turned on you. You lost because you were dumb and you were mad that Bianca was cheering for Io. Sorry. Quit bitching. Like that's where I'm at with Rhea's. Like Rhea's usually like presented as this tough, strong, independent woman, and right now, like she's coming off whiny. Like, what?
That's right.
No, what are you doing going here stealing the contract and saying, "Oh, you cheered for EO." So what? If she cheered for EO, just beat EO and then bring it up. Like you didn't want to face me. You wanted to face EO. That's why you were cheering for her. Instead, you got in your feelings. You got in your feelings and you said drop, 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 and EO dropped you. And you lost. Now she's taking the legal route. She's trying to sue. Adam Pearce is going to come back and say, "You lost this battle, Wrath. You claim you're unbothered, but you're acting like a little bitch."
Ria Ripley or Ria Graham? You decide. Aubrey Ripley, you decide.
So that's my complaint with the whole Rhea stuff. I assume Rhea's going to win a match. Maybe she beats Bianca. Maybe she beats Io. I don't know. I wouldn't have either of them lose.
I wouldn't do either one of those singles matches at this
I
point.
wouldn't either, but you got to justify her being in this match somehow besides unless Io and Bianca are just like, you know what? Just put her in the match. Then if I'm everybody else on the roster, like, wait a second. I could just complain and steal a contract and sign it and I could get put in this match? Shit. This is way easier than wrestling. I'm just going to do that.
The toughest woman in the locker room, Shayna Baszler, put that on Twitter. She was like, I didn't know we could just come up and just sign her name on a contract to get in a match at WrestleMania.
That's way
that was
easier.
That was her second best quote of the week. Her first best quote is, if you knew if I was shooting on you, you would know. We would both know it.
Like, Rhea's got to beat somebody. She can't just get added to this match because she complained so much. But the only justifiable people she can beat would be Bianca or Io. And yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't have either of them lose. But like her beating Raquel or Liv. What do you have, an egg?
Yes, she gave me an egg. She said, "There's an egg for you."
Nice. So it looks like Darth Vader.
Egg. Yeah. Said hi. Say hi, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy. You got your egg?
I don't have an egg.
What's the egg's name?
Tom.
Is the egg Tom? Tom the egg?
Tom the egg? I was looking around to see if I had any eggs somewhere, but I don't see any. Sometimes there's just shit laying around that I might be able to find one. Eggs are expensive here, so you can't just like have those things laying around. You got to put them to use.
Yeah.
But like she can't beat Raquel, and then it's like, oh, okay, she beat Raquel. She's added to the match. Like that's not a good enough victory.
I saw the best suggestion that I saw was from Stephanie Hypes on Twitter. She said that they should do like a pick your poison, where Io picks an opponent for Rhea and Bianca picks an opponent for Rhea, and she has to beat both of them to get into the matchup at WrestleMania. So you would think Io would pick Dakota Kai, which is someone that Rhea could easily beat on a television show. And then Bianca can either pick Naomi, or she could pick Jade, or she can go the opposite route and pick one of her rivals turn friends in Bayley.
So though, for those that don't remember WrestleMania 20, they did the Shawn stole the contract, and then they did Shawn against Stevie Richards, and there was a bunch of interference from Evolution and everybody, but Shawn ended up winning that match, and then he was put into the triple threat match. So if you're gonna replay history here, it would seem, but no, there's no, like, Io's not a heel champion like Triple H was. So Dakota Kai interfering doesn't make a ton of sense. You know, Bianca doesn't have any friends right now. So
and the whole
interference
reason why you're not doing Bianca and Rhea at the WrestleMania is because you want to save that for a bigger WrestleMania where it can probably main event. So why would you then have that match on TV?
Yeah, Rhea facing either of them doesn't make, unless you're going to do Rhea and Io and it ends in some type of, maybe not Bianca interferes, but it ends in some type of draw, whether it's a double count out or maybe it does. Maybe you do a time limit draw. They do them so rarely in WWE. Maybe you
they
get
don't
away with
announce any time limits. That's why if they ever try to do a time limit draw, it's going to be obvious when they say this match has a 20-minute time limit. Like, what the hell? You've never said that before.
Yeah, it would 100% give it away. But you gotta do something to get Rhea in this match beyond Rhea complains and Io and Bianca are like, all right, fuck it. Rhea's like a call center or like a claim center. You know what I mean? So okay, let me explain. They'll charge you like $5 for something. You're like, how did I get this charge here? So you go to dispute it and you got to talk to an automated thing and you got to press 1 to talk to a human and the human doesn't know what you're talking about and they got to talk to somebody above. And finally you've spent like 2 hours just trying to get a $5 charge removed. That's what Rhea's doing. She's like, is it worth y'all's time? Is it worth y'all's 2 hours to get this $5 charge? Or are you just going to be like, you know what? Fuck it. Just put her in the match.
Just let me in.
That's what it feels like right now. Rhea's just going to keep pounding. It's like, is it worth it to y'all? Y'all really want this $5 back? Or are you just going to put me in the match? And finally, Bianca and Io are just like, just put her in the match. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of talking to this person, and then they're reconnecting me to this person, and then the call gets dropped, and so I got to recall and restart everything. I try to go online for support, and they're saying that I don't have the right passcode for everything. They're saying it's the wrong order altogether. So then I got to call this person. Just fuck it. Adam Pearce can't get shit done. Just put her in the match.
And this is the problem. Adam Pearce is the problem here, folks. He should have just let Rhea put her rematch clause, and that's how we make it a triple threat. You could have made things much more simpler, but he had to get rid of rematch clauses and all that stuff.
So Adam Pearce isn't the problem. I mean, he is a
He's
little
the
bit.
Problem. He's
he needs
the
to
problem.
step up.
Rhea has a right. Rhea has a right to say she deserves to be in this match.
Adam Pearce does need to step up and put his foot down and be like, no, you lost. You don't get this match. You are a loser. You should just call her a loser. You are a giant loser. Get to the back of the line. Go to SmackDown if you want some type of match. That's what Rhea should do. She should try to get in on the Tiffany and Charlotte match. She's like, fuck.
Try to make that better, please.
Yeah.
that needs some help, honestly. Like, what are we talking about here?
But fighting Charlotte Flair.
But there's intrigue, and there's still people on social media that are trying to push for Io, Rhea, and Bianca to be the headliner for night 1. But I like the rivalry. I think it is worthy of being the night 1 main event. I just don't believe it. Like, all the investment, all the camera time is really going to the Punk, Roman, and Seth thing. They even do promos that could have been emails. So just to get them on each show, they're the one that has the rivalry that is being focused on both shows. The only other one outside of Cena and Cody and Gunther and Jay. I thought Gunther and Jay had a better build on SmackDown than they did on Raw this week. Just having Gunther go out there and have a great match with Axiom, and then trying to troll Jimmy Uso backstage, saying, "Hey, you're the mature one, so let me try to talk to you. You should talk to your brother about getting out of this matchup." That was a much more effective build than the last 3-4 weeks of Gunther and Jay. It has Gunther and Jay, man. They've fallen so far. I was like, man, they were 4 for 4. I think they were even 5 for 5 at one point. And then, like that, it was that 4th and 5th week where I said it on this show. I was like, starting to feel very mid-cardish. and they have not gotten away with that. Adding A-Town down under has just put this whole rivalry down under, where they only had like what 2-3 minutes of camera time last night.
I will continue to say that I think there's something there with Austin Theory. I think you can make him an effective heel. Maybe he's similar to The Miz. Whatever. The Miz has carved out a 20-year career that includes multiple championships, including the world title, including a WrestleMania main event. So people like to use like, oh, he's The Miz. We should all be wished that we are The Miz with that kind of career, that kind of money. All right. The Miz is doing well for himself. I think there's something there with Grayson Waller. It's never going to be shown with Austin Theory. This stuff has gone on way too long. It's hilarious that they had this man beat John Cena and then did nothing with it afterwards. And he's in the position that he's in right now. There's nothing there with Austin Theory. I've never seen it. I know other people have claimed to have seen it.
I've seen it.
I've not. I've never seen it with him.
I seen it back in Evolve. I have not seen it since he signed with WWE.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, that was Evolve was like 8 years ago at this point. Harlem, what do you think of Austin Theory?
What do you think of Austin Theory, Harlem? She just walked away.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's the correct answer. Yep.
She knows who Cody and John Spia is, but she don't care about Austin Theory. I mean, Jay Uso had what 2 moves to do last night, and he botched both of them.
I went with the crossbody. It's okay. It's all right.
And did Cole actually call it a crossbody? I haven't gone back and watched it.
I didn't hear what Cole called it, but it looked more like a crossbody than a spear.
I think Cole called it a running crossbody.
Yeah.
And then the botch dive to the outside where he tripped over the top rope.
Yeah. It was
not a good night for Jay. I mean, the Brussels crowd loved him. That's what I put on social media. I was like, I was about to compliment the whole segment because I was annoyed last week when he went kind of like 50-50 or 60-40 with Grayson Waller for like a near 10-minute matchup. I was actually going to compliment them on him just squashing Theory with like one move. I was like, oh, they actually tried to make him look strong this week, and he actually stood tall against Gunther. But then when you actually watch it and you see he botched both moves, it's like, can't really compliment you for that, dog. Sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Wasn't a great night for Jay. But he shouldn't be in this position where he's doing stuff with Theory and Waller. He just shouldn't. He should not be in this position. Now they're going to do the tag team match next week. I know people, it's got to be Jimmy or Joe Hendry. The Joe Hendry tease is only because they're in Glasgow.
Scotland.
Yeah, and Joe Hendry, of course, is playing it up on social media because that's what Joe Hendry does smartly, I will add. And if it's Jimmy, I complained about that yesterday. I was just like, again, this whole brand split and the draft and stuff, Jimmy's just going to show up on Raw. It's not going to matter. Who cares? Why are they doing this tag team match? Why isn't Jay facing Kaiser or somebody who has some type of connection to Gunther? Gunther should at least destroy Jimmy at some point. Like, I assume that'll happen in the coming weeks. Gunther would take one look at Theory and Waller and be like, I'm not associating with these guys. They're just two goofballs. They're no better than Tozawa and Otis. They lose all the time. They crack jokes. I don't want anything to do with these guys. Like, there's no connection of this feud when they're not on camera together. It feels like they're just off doing completely separate things. And like, look, the Gunther matches are good. The A-Kid match was good. Axiom. The Axiom match was good. but there was no connection to.
I thought it was one of the better TV matches of the on WWE this year so far. But yeah, it's not been riveting kind of television, and it feels very beneath the World Heavyweight Championship, and very beneath, even more beneath the winner of the Royal Rumble. Like, week after week, I am really like being like, was it really a great move to try to surprise and swerve the fans by having Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble? And yes, it could be like, okay, you're rewarding him for being one of the most over acts, and you're rewarding him for being a merch mover. But if you had no plan for the build to WrestleMania, was it the right move? Wouldn't the world title be more effective and feel more like a world title program if it was in the Seth, Punk, and Roman storyline? I think we all can agree it would.
I think the Royal Rumble winner should always headline WrestleMania, because then you make the Rumble feel important and you give credence to always going to WrestleMania to headline the show. You got 2 nights of WrestleMania. You got a female, you got a male. That match should always headline WrestleMania. And if you don't think your Royal Rumble winner can headline WrestleMania, maybe they should not win the Rumble. Just maybe they should figure something else out at that point. Go with a different winner, or heat it up enough to where the Rumble winner is hot enough to challenge for the title to main event WrestleMania. That's, my personal philosophy on things. If you think Jey Uso is good enough to headline WrestleMania, heat him up enough to make it happen. And once he picked Gunther, it just wasn't going to happen. And he was probably never going to pick Cody, because Cody is now doing other things. But if you don't think Jey Uso could headline it, go with someone else. Maybe you should have gone with Cena, and then The Rock would have come in and blown things up anyway, which would have been even more hilarious in that case. But yeah, whoever wins the Rumble, I think, should headline WrestleMania. And now this year, I mean, neither Rumble winner is getting a headlining spot. Like, with the way things stand, and
the Chamber winners have a better chance of headlining WrestleMania.
Oh, one Chamber winner is 100% going to do it. The other Chamber winner is up in the air.
Yeah, it's like a 30% chance right now.
You think it's 30%?
Yeah, I think it's a high 30%, because there's a title involved in that 3-way, and I can see like maybe the fans making a late push to get the women finally a WrestleMania main event for the first time in 4 years.
So I kind of think it's 50-50.
I don't think it's 50-50. I think that's too high. I don't think it's 50-50. I think Punk, Seth, and Roman are so ridiculously over. They are 3 of the top 5 biggest stars in the company, male stars in the company. So yeah, they have a 70% chance of that fighting night one.
Okay. Maybe I'm looking at it of 50-50 in that there's only 2 options. It's either the women's triple threat or Punk, Roman, and Seth. Like, I don't see any other match of like, this is another option. So maybe that's why I'm thinking it's 50-50. But I get what you're saying of Roman, Punk, and Seth has like the higher probability of, you're looking more at it like betting odds, and I'm looking more of it as how many matches are up for grabs. It's really only these 2 that could fill that spot. So I get what you're saying though. All right. What else happened on Raw? Penta is going after the Intercontinental title. Judgment Day is not fine. Braun Breaker is still the Intercontinental champion.
What do you have red on your hand? What do you have red on your hand? Show the people your red hands.
Who did you murder?
Who did you murder?
Red hand.
Red hands? Why do you have red hands?
Let's wash it.
Go wash your hands.
Who got killed? Blood on your hands, literally.
She's Joe Goldberg from You.
Oh shit, that comes back soon, right?
Yes. Next month. Can't wait. But yeah, the Intercontinental title scene got a little bit more kind of more in view for us. Penta and Ludwig Kaiser, I thought their no holds barred matchup was much better than the first match that they had. The crowd was into it. It being the opener, it worked out well. Penta picking up the win, even though I was taken out of the finish of the matchup because I don't know about you, but the fact that we got Ludwig Kaiser setting up the chair for himself to take a Canadian destroyer kind of took me out of the last couple of minutes. He's like positioning the chair. He's like turning it on the side, putting it behind him, and then standing there for the destroyer. I was like, you kind of took me out of the last stretch of this matchup, but it was a very good matchup with a hot Brussels crowd. And then Penta, after the match with Kathy Kelly, says that he's going for the Intercontinental Championship. So then we see Penta. He has a little stare down with Bron Breakker backstage. Then we get the Bron Breakker and Finn Balor matchup, another really good matchup on last night's show. The crowd was into it, even though it was the main event 2 hours into the show. You had the Judgment Day interference. You even had Dom kind of teasing that he's going for the Intercontinental title because he had that little moment where he was looking at the IC title wearing the same exact shirt that Eddie Guerrero wore when he first looked at the IC title in the same way. And then he cost Balor the matchup by trying to help him by dropping Braun on the top rope, but that crotched Braun and that crotched Balor and set him up for the Breakensteiner and the spear at the end. And man, Finn Balor is the only Irishman who could lose on St. Paddy's Day with a 3-on-1 advantage. Like, oh my God, Finn Balor, damn.
I don't get why he got this match in the first place. A dude hasn't won a match in like also, a year.
Well, Dom worked his magic. You know, Dom, they've established that Dom is a great negotiator when it comes to Adam Pearce.
Clearly. All right, so I get it, but the promo Finn did the other week when he was talking to Bron Breakker and Bron was up on the whatever they call it, the rail area. That sounds wrong.
In the stands. He was in the stands.
Yeah. When Finn was talking all this game of like, I'm one of the best wrestlers out there and you haven't proven anything because you haven't beaten me. Like, dude, you haven't won a singles match in like a year. What do you mean?
Dude, it was even worse because if you're in Europe like I was, you get the ad break, you get all the ad break content. And before the main event, I was talking to like Rick Ucchino, I was talking to the True Hill Heat chat, and I was like, are we gonna get another title change? Because that seems to be the theme of this road to WrestleMania.
I kind of thought,
we got EO winning the women's world title. We had LA Knight win the US title. We had the Street Profits winning the tag team titles on SmackDown. So there was a chance that it could have been another title change here. But then Finn, during the ad break, cuts this whole promo where it's basically Miz 101 of let me run down my resume. I'm a former U.S. champion. I'm a 2-time NXT champion. I was the first ever Universal champion. I'm a 2-time Intercontinental champion. By the time he finished the promo, I text the same people. I text Rick Ucchino. I text the True Hill Heat chat. I was like, Finn's not winning. He ran down his resume. I was like, now I know you're not winning.
Finn Balor's only singles victory in 2024 came against Dragon Lee. He lost every other singles match he was in. He lost to Ciampa. Lost to Tommaso Ciampa. Jey Uso twice. Drew, Gunther, Rey Mysterio, and Priest. He beat Dragon Lee. That was his only singles victory. And then this year, he lost to Priest and he lost to Seth Rollins. One singles victory an entire calendar year. Why would I think this guy is some type of a threat and win it all?
Finn Balor. Finn Balor.
I like Finn, but they gotta do something. I know Judgment Day is fine right now. They got to either give somebody to this group or they just got to split it and he's got to go babyface. I don't know what you do to establish further some actual credibility with Judgment Day because them losing all the time ain't really helping their case.
Yeah, like I said, I've felt like this for like a year now. That I feel like the only person who's going to survive the Judgment Day, like post Judgment Day, is Dom and Liv. I think Dom and Liv will be all right, but everybody else, they've been totally damaged by being in this group. And we had the little interaction between Dom and Finn backstage where Dom suggested Penta being part of the Judgment Day, and Finn was very upset with that. And I loved Carlito being like, dude, watch the show. He just went after. He just said he's coming for the IC title. Like, what are you talking about, bro? And why did you not suggest Karrion Kross? We've been seeing you talking to him backstage for weeks now, but you didn't suggest him. You suggested Penta. Why do you always want to bring another luchador or another Mexican wrestler into the Judgment Day? It never works out.
Kross would be an interesting get for the Judgment Day. He's doing good work in these little backstage segments. He hasn't wrestled in like 5 months, which bless, that's the life right there. Just show up, do a little 30-second backstager, get paid, hang out with your wife. Love it. Karrion Kross is living a good life right now, honestly.
He's doing the damn thing right now. He's living the life. He's the master manipulator. He's the puppet master. He's saying, oh, really?
Karrion Kross's big decision is like, all right, who am I on screen with? Oh, okay, this is how I got to wear my hair. That's it. That's all he's got to think about is how he's got to wear his hair based on who he's on screen with. He didn't have to do anything else. Like, hey, Karrion, you're on screen with AJ. All right, time to, part over here. Hold on, let me see if I can't make it like super straight, but I can kind of get it wavy down. There we go. There's the AJ Styles side hair there. You're on screen with Sami Zayn. All right, let me get the top
ponytail. Yep,
going here. There we go.
Perfect.
There, I promise everybody.
Perfect.
Is that going? That's it. At some point, he's gonna be like, "All right, Karrion, you're on screen with Cody Rhodes." He's like, "Shit,
I gotta get a haircut.
Gotta get a buzz cut, dye my hair blonde." There's a lot here.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. But yeah. Karrion Kross, I've been enjoying his work ever since he stopped wrestling. So I give him credit for that. AJ was ridiculously over in Belgium. You heard that mega pop for him just for a backstage segment.
Yeah, they should have put him in front of the live crowd and done that there
instead of Seth. Yeah,
exactly.
Have him come out and say he's calling out Logan Paul because he didn't get to do that in Madison Square Garden, and then Karrion Kross comes out and just does the same thing, but in the ring. It would have been fine. Would have got a big reaction, and we would have had something that wasn't an email.
Cyclops better than Wolverine sends super chat. Ria fans will justify anything. Even Ria's crying. She's got hardcore stands, man. I can't knock these people who ride or die for their wrestlers like that. Don't make it your whole personality. That's a little off-putting, but the stands of some of these wrestlers, they're there. They're going for it no matter what. You got no choice but to respect it, as long as they don't get creepy and weird and don't come after me or any of my friends, then I don't care. Whatever.
Exactly. Don't get mad at me if I don't like the same things you like. So here you go. But yeah, that was pretty much. Well, what do you think is going to be the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania?
I assume a multi-man at this point.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's going to be a multi-man, and Phoenix. They ran the teaser on SmackDown. Where does he fit in to things if he's not immediately aligned with Penta? Oh, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be a multi-man. Then the US title, I don't know what that's going to be, because
I feel like that's going to be LA Knight and Jacob Fatu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I want the Fatu versus Solo, but it seems like they're going to slow burn that. That's
Triple H's MO. And like, honestly, these past few weeks with the interactions together and like Solo, like hyping them up and stuff, it's been pretty good stuff. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if I even want to see them split at this point. Like before, it was very clear of like, yeah, Fatu's the star here. Get him away from Solo. Let him break out on his own. Now I'm like, you know what? Solo is like a hype man behind Fatu. This actually works. I can see this. So yeah, I'm all for Solo being the second guy and just hyping up Jacob Fatu as he destroys people. That's a good shout. Fatu and LA Knight, just because I wasn't sure if they do like too many multi-man matches, because we're gonna get one of the women's secondary titles is gonna be a multi-woman match as well. And then I don't know
the Intercontinental title one would be that.
I hope Chelsea gets, you know, her big match against Trish or Nikki Bella or whoever, you know, whichever like diva legend that they put her against, because she's been pushing for that so hard, and like she still like wants to represent like Divas era wrestling and has a lot of respect for it. So I hope she does get like her diva legend moment. I don't know if she'll win. Like putting there's worse options than like putting that title on Nikki Bella, but I do hope she gets her diva moment out
Hair
there.
versus hair.
I don't think they're doing that at all.
Chelsea, you know Chelsea would do it for the game. She would do it just for the WrestleMania one-on-one matchup. She would do it for the game.
See, I don't feel like you pitch something like that unless there's two things. One, you're very certain that's not happening, because it's like, yeah, I can throw it out there and like they're not actually going to do this hair versus hair. Or two, you think it might happen and you're very willing to lose that match, because you're not pitching hair versus hair and then expecting the other person to shave their head.
Yeah, totally not. It's basically Victoria WrestleMania 20. We're doing all the WrestleMania 20 gimmicks. we're doing it. This WrestleMania is going to be a mixture of WrestleMania 20 and WrestleMania 2000. That's what this basically this WrestleMania.
It's gonna be Tiffany and Bianca closing night one, holding the titles up.
Holding the titles up, like, yeah, we did it. Or it's gonna be John Cena and The Rock on night two, with Cena holding the WWE Championship, Rock holding the People's title, and raising it.
Rock's gotta have his fucking fake title.
And Travis Scott with the hardcore
Travis
title.
Scott, yeah, hell yeah. You know what? That would actually rule. I'm all for that.
That's what I want to have.
I'm all for that.
I'm so serious. I want that to be the close of WrestleMania night 2 now.
All these dudes just got titles, and like, shit, WWE really does have too many titles. WrestleMania night 2 just closing with these three dudes holding titles. Two of them don't actually exist.
Like, what did they wrestle for?
Yeah. Rock just took this title from Muhammad Ali's widow, and Travis Scott just was gifted it from Triple H. Yeah, sure. All right, that should be the closing shot of WrestleMania night 2. I'm for it. I love it.
I'm booking it. I'll book my tickets right now to go just to see that. Just to see that close with them holding all the gold. But yeah, I think the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania, I think it will be Bron, Penta, Finn, Dom. I think they could do like a 4-way if they don't want to make it too messy. Bron Breakker.
Oh, Bron Breakker. All right. My brain went Strowman for a second. And
No.
How the hell is he getting in there?
Bron Breakker, Penta, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio. I could see them throwing in like AJ Styles and Logan Paul into that if they don't want to do a singles match.
They're doing singles match.
Right now, right now it feels like they're doing a singles match. But I could see them throwing in two more people into that, like maybe Sheamus or Ludwig Kaiser or something like that. Because where the hell is Sheamus? Like, Sheamus is the key person. Like, going back to the Jay and Gunther thing, Sheamus should be used in that feud. Like, you should have Jay go against Sheamus, who has been like Gunther's main rival since coming to the main roster, and being like getting credibility building wins over him. Or do like a series of matches. Do like one where Gunther gets involved and then it's a no contest. And then you could do a tag team match with Jay and Sheamus versus Kaiser and Gunther. And then the following week you do Jay versus Sheamus, and Jay picks up a credibility building win over Sheamus. And then you could do Sheamus versus versus Gunther. Then the follow. I just booked 4 more weeks of television for you, WWE. Why can't you do the same thing?
You'll get Jey Uso and a mystery partner against A-Town Down Under, and you will like it. SP3.
And I'm all for Joe Hendry getting his shine in Scotland, but that's such a like house show thing to do. It does not do anything to help the Jay and Gunther storyline or build.
It should be Joe Hendry, and that's fine. They win the match, and Gunther should just come out, just destroy Joe Hendry. They'll never allow it because Joe Hendry's the TNA champion, and they probably want to protect him to some extent. But Gunther should just come out and just kill him, and then Jay just looks on and be like, TNA guy, whatever.
We're not really friends. He just was here. He's in Scotland. So.
Your stuff's much better than, again, the stuff is just so disconnected with what they're doing right now. The stuff when they do the promos against each other, like the brawls or Gunther laying them out, like all that's pretty good. But the other stuff is just so disconnected right now. All right. New Japan Cup final. It is on Thursday. It is Shota Umino against David Finlay.
You sound as enthusiastic as the New Japan fans right now.
The Shota stuff's not working. You know it too, SP3.
And you know me. I shot in the Shota Umino gym throughout. I had him winning the G1 last year. Everybody was saying Zack Sabre Jr. and my heart was saying Zack Sabre Jr. But I was like, no, New Japan Pro Wrestling is so convinced he's the next guy. They're going to have him win the G1. So I shot in the gym with Shota Umino. But when he failed to win that, I was like, all right, I'm jumping off this bandwagon. Then he got booed out the building at Power Struggle. And I was like, okay, New Japan, embrace that. Make him a heel. Have him turn heel. Have him join the Death Riders and start choking people out with plastic bags. Whatever you got to do. Embrace the reaction that he got at Power Struggle. They did not do that. They kept him as a babyface getting into Wrestle Kingdom. And then Wrestle Kingdom, I jumped off the bandwagon and then I set the bandwagon on fire because there was no one else on there. So I just set that and it went ablaze because he had a 40-minute slog with one of the best wrestlers in the world in Zack Sabre Jr. And Zack has completely redeemed himself since then. He redeemed himself the next night and had a great match with Ricochet and then had one of the best matches of the year with Hiroki Goto. Had another one of the best matches of the year in the New Japan Cup with Tai Chi. And then another great matchup with David Finlay. Shota Umino has not redeemed himself. He has not had a great match since Wrestle Kingdom. He has not he's just all they have done is shave his head and he works slower. He's cut out a lot of the moves that weren't working for him when he did have the hair, but he's working so much more slower than he was previously. None of his matches have been standouts in this tournament. And you had Jeff Cobb, who got all this attention because of the rumor that he was going to WWE. He should have probably beat Shota, and he should have went deeper into the tournament to kind of prolong the attention that he was getting and being like, man, New Japan's having this guy that's supposed to be leaving and he's going deep into the tournament. No, they had Shota just beat him. And then he's versus Shingo Takagi, and Shingo Takagi versus David Finlay would be a fantastic New Japan Cup final, but no, Shota Umino's got to win that as well. And in a match that was good, but that's because you're against Shingo Takagi, who can't have a bad matchup. It was good, but it wasn't great. We would have got a great match with Shingo and David Finlay, and David Finlay just seems like the hot hand. He seems like the obvious choice because to a lot of people, he was supposed to win the New Japan Cup last year until he got a sickness and had to be out of the tournament, and that led to Yota Tsuji winning the tournament last year. He feels like the hot hand right now because he has a built-in story with Hiroki Goto. He embarrassed Hiroki Goto just a few months ago by beating him for the global title in front of his kids, making his kids cry, and now Hiroki Goto is the all-beloved an IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, that seems like an automatic big money main event for Sakura Genesis. But there is just this dark cloud of Gato not wanting to give up on Shota Umino, which makes this whole final just be like, are we getting Shota again in a big title match that soon after he bombed at the Tokyo Dome? And y'all accepted that he bombed because obviously y'all made this big change to him with him just being bald because he doesn't even change his tights. He's still wearing those bell-bottom jeans or bell-bottom pants that are ridiculous. Oh, just boss dog David Finlay. He should be the winner of the New Japan Cup, but I'm just like I'm so apprehensive going into Thursday because I think they're gonna have Shooter win.
I fully expect Shota to win. I think they think that this stuff is working and that he'll be an effective heel against Goto and the crowd will enjoy Goto winning. I don't think he's going to win the title or anything, but the crowd will obviously be super behind Goto. But I think they think this stuff is effective right now. I'm with you. Finlay should win. Finlay was one of the standouts from Wrestle Kingdom weekend, and he's much more effective as a heel. Baby, it doesn't matter, but he's much more. I think he could be just as effective as Shota, more effective, honestly, because the crowd's a little bit more into Finlay than they are Shota at this point. I don't think the crowd is into Shota at all, but they're just trying with him, and I think they're going to continue to try. The right call would be Finlay winning, but yeah, I'm with you of like they might just go with Shota because they're trying so hard with this dude, and they think like if they just continue, at some point he will break through. And I don't know, man, if you go out there Wrestle Kingdom main event and you have the match that he had, I feel like you gotta be scaled back immediately. Like shaving your head ain't exactly the change of, okay, he's a new person now. Now we can renew a push for him. It's like, nah, you can do all that, but you still got to be pushed aside for a little while, at least until the G1. And then if you can have some standout matches in the G1, then it's like, all right, now we'll see if we got something here. But otherwise, that's your opportunity, the G1. Before that, you're just going to be kind of mid-card stuff, mid-card and lower, and then we'll see what happens in the G1 with you. But yeah, I think they think that this character change is like, oh, it's a renewed Shota push. It's like, do we really need to renew this Shota push?
We don't really need to. We shouldn't. Like, what are we doing, dog? Like, no one wants this. No one wants to cheer for Shooter. Like, David Finlay is the hot head. David Finlay's like right there with like your Gabe Kids, your Yota Tsujis, your Yuya Uemuras, who have really taken that next step in their career. And I feel like more than anyone, he feels like a guy that should become the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. The only outlier that I would say that if I'm New Japan, I understand this, is if David Finlay wins and you're planning on him losing to Hiroki Goto. Like, I think that they should continue with the Hiroki Goto.
I think Goto's beating Finlay or Shota.
Yeah, so I can understand if they're going to be like, okay, we want to save the Finlay and Goto matchup for when we're ready to put the title on Finlay. I can see them. I can understand them going with Shota to win the New Japan Cup, giving him another accomplishment, and then having him lose to Goto, because Goto is the hot hand right now. Goto pulled out great matches with Hiroshi Tanahashi and Yuji Nagata in the past couple of weeks. Like, he's balling right now, and he's the hot hand. Like, I even tweeted that out after Saturday's show. I was like, yeah, you should probably continue this Goto run. So if they're going to have Finlay make another final and lose there and then rebuild them by having Shooter lose to Hiroki Goto at Sakura Genesis and then doing a rematch between Shooter and Finlay at like Wrestling Dontaku, where Finlay wins there to set up Finlay versus Goto at Dominion, and then you have Finlay win the title there. I'm fine with that. That seems to be a good direction because I think that you should prolong the Goto run and even try to see if Goto can have the same type of success, the same type of quality matches that he's had with Nagata and Tanahashi in Japan. Let's see if he could do that in the U.S. at Windy City Riot and what's the other one? Resurgence, which is in April and May, where they've already announced that they're going to have IWGP World Heavyweight Championship matches there. Let's see if Goto can get that same type of response from the U.S. crowds, and let's give him more of a chance to have like a legit run here. So I'm hoping that if they are putting the cup and they're having Shooter win the cup, at least have Goto successfully retain the title.
I think Goto is going to retain. Even if it's Shota, I can't imagine them taking the title off of Goto and putting it on Shota with this current iteration. Like from everything I've seen too, like New Japan Business is actually up with Goto as the champion as well. Like they're drawing better crowds. So yeah, I don't know why you would go away from that to go with Shota. If you were going to make Shota the Wrestle Kingdom main event, was the time to do it. That would have been the time to try to make him. And then he delivered a performance that showed probably shouldn't make this guy right now. And a haircut and a worse wrestling style doesn't exactly give much more faith on it. We'll talk about the New Japan Cup on Thursday. The finals will be Thursday morning, so we'll both have watched it by the time we do this show on Thursday at 10 o'clock. We got NXT tonight. Chelsea Green is on the show. She's going to be defending the Women's United States title against Sol Ruca with NXT Underground between Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe. The Culling, as they're known as, against the D'Angelo family. And Ricky Saints against Ridge Holland. Anything standing out for NXT?
Those last two ones are just like eye rollers. Like what? Ricky Saints. I'm looking forward to anything he does, but you want to balance the scales. Like I'm excited for Ricky Saints, but against Ridge Holland, not as excited as I was before you mentioned who his opponent was.
Ridge Holland is like a fine. Like I pitched him going to TNA and feuding with Joe Hendry because God knows they need somebody to feud with Joe Hendry. Like Ridge Holland is like a fine heel. Shouldn't be at the top of the card or anything, but a fine, like for Ricky's first singles match, a dude Ricky can beat who has been presented as a top heel. He's been challenging for the world title. He's challenged for the North American title. He's been a guy who's been in high profile positions. So assuming Ricky wins, it's a fun little victory for Ricky.
Yeah, it's a fine TV match. So I expect Ricky Saints to win, and I expect this to be a launch pad for him probably challenging Shawn Spears for the North American Championship at Stand and Deliver. The call-in, not once you said the culling, and I'm like, I'm not interested. But the first two matches you mentioned, I am interested in. NXT Underground with Eddie Thorpe and Trick Williams. I've liked this new edge to Trick, and goddamn, Trick, when he came out at Roadblock, he looked like he put on like 100 pounds of muscle. He was just looking jacked to the gills because he knows he's got a big matchup probably in the waiting against Obafemi. So I expect Trick to get the win here and be the challenger for Obafemi for the NXT Championship at Stand and Deliver. And then what was the other match you mentioned? What was the first one? Oh, the Chelsea Green and Sol Ruca. Yeah. I'm just hoping that Sol Ruca doesn't bust her nose again, like she did in the tag team, or whatever that happened. She busted her nose again. But I really feel like this matchup is a tryout match for the main roster for Sol Ruca. I expect Sol Ruca to be one of the talents that get called up in the draft after WrestleMania.
Yeah, maybe. I could see it, but they have so many talented women that bringing up more and not having a plan for them is not something I'm interested in.
I think they would have a plan for her. I think they can because because they have the women's U.S. Championship and the women's Intercontinental Championship, there's more opportunities for ladies from NXT to get like something out of this. And I'm not, saying base this on Lyra Valkyria, but Lyra Valkyria, she's the greatest women's Intercontinental Champion of all time. I mean,
Lyra is about the only one because I know Kiana James got hurt, so I don't hold that against them. But she hadn't done anything.
And Blair
Davenport, yeah, nothing there. Ilya, they were doing stuff with, and he unfortunately got hurt. I mean, Carmelo wasn't doing anything for a little while, and then they finally picked up stuff with him. But I don't know if they do have plans when they call these people up.
Honestly. No, I don't think so either. But I don't see what else she could do on NXT if you have your Julias, your Stephanie Vickers, your Zarias, your Jordan Graces, there's so only Jada Parker, Lola Vice. Like I feel like Lola Vice is another one that might get the call up because there's really nothing else for her to do if she's not going to be in that upper echelon, that top 5 of the division. So I can see them calling up the likes of like Sol Ruka and Lola Vice in the draft. I think that's what they're waiting for, Jason, as far as Roxanne Perez. Roxanne is really playing the role that Carmelo and Bron played before last year's WrestleMania, where they were on the main roster, but also full-time on NXT at the same time. This is what they do with like the top stars of NXT. They let you kind of get your losses to put over the talent that are going to be on NXT remaining while they basically tease you or try you out on the main roster. And I think that she'll solidify herself on the main roster in the draft.
I hope they get Roxanne up sooner rather than later, and they actually have a plan for her. I'd like to see, and we talked about the women's matches, and the women's Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania could be a multi-woman match. I'd like to see Bayley win the title and then do her and Roxanne at WrestleMania one-on-one for the title.
I wouldn't mind that. They did do the Raw Talk thing where
Lyra was going to
her challenge.
Yeah, like I think there's potential there, and it's not something like there's a month before WrestleMania at this point, but this is a feud that's already been playing out over the past month on WWE and NXT television. So it's not like you only have a few weeks to heat that up. Like, no, it's been there for a little while. Now you gotta just remind everybody of what's going on with this feud. So yeah, I would like to see that. I don't know if that's going to happen. It almost felt like Raquel is going to win the title next week because Lyra's like, I'm going to give you the next shot after I beat Raquel. I'm like, oh shit, you're losing to Raquel, aren't you? Like, all right, well, good luck. Sorry about that.
They really do that to her in Scotland? Yeah, they probably would.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? All right, everybody. Anything else, SP3?
No, that's all. NXT should be another good show. NXT's coming off one of their best TV shows ever with Roadblock. I expect this week to be another entertaining show, and we're going to start to see some matches being made for Stand and Deliver. Even though I was kind of confused by Matt Hardy saying that the Hardys are finished up with NXT because. Who from the NXT tag team division is challenging Fraxium at Stand and Deliver now? Like, what?
Matt's working, brother.
Yeah, I know. I know.
We do have, we missed it last week because I was under the weather and not in my right mind. We do have hottest takes this week.
Yes.
So we gotta get our hottest takes for the week. I had one earlier about WWE and John Cena, and now I completely forgot what it was. But I did John Cena a couple weeks ago saying John Cena won't win the WWE Championship during his farewell tour. So I'll pull back on John Cena. Do you have a hottest take, SP3?
Yes, because I think that you're right. This guy is so adamant about putting him over. So I am gonna go my hottest take. Shota Umino will become IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in the year of our Lord 2025.
All right. in 2025. Oh man, I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too.
I hope this take is completely wrong.
I hope this take ages as badly as my Orlando Magic in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference hottest take from FMC.
Yeah, that one looked good, and then all of a sudden
it looked good, but it went.
They got healthy, and then like it went downhill. It's like, wait a second, that's not how it's supposed to work. You got all your good players back, and now you can't win games. What's happening? What's happening here? Yeah, that one was a rough one, but you know, it happens.
Hey, Houston Rockets, the one though, that still looks good. That still looks good.
The West is so like after OKC, like 2 through 6 is going to change so much over the last week here because the Clippers are hot now, and the Clippers are getting healthy as well.
The Warriors are hot.
The Warriors, the Nuggets. I mean, the Nuggets won last night. They beat the Warriors without Jokic and Murray. So the Lakers are still there. Yeah, the Rockets and the Grizzlies are still there as well. You got all those teams fighting for that 2 through 6 spot. And like the Timberwolves are going to be in that mix as well. So yeah, one of those teams or a couple of those teams are going to be in the play-in spot. And then probably the likely of who wins in the play-in because the Suns are trash.
Yo, I can't believe the Suns are letting the Dallas Mavericks look like they're going to be in the play-in.
I don't get that team. I really don't. Like, I understand they have like deficiencies, especially defensively, but I just don't understand how you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and like that's just not enough to beat some of these teams. Like, they're just and look, I was praising Budenholzer to start this season of just he's a good regular season coach. You know, in the playoffs, he's got a championship, he's got a ring, but his teams have always performed well in the regular season, and they got off to a nice start, and then they just completely crashed out. Yeah, that team's a mess. I don't know, like, there's no real fixing them either. Like,
you got to blow it up completely. Just try to hold on to Booker and just blow up the rest of the team.
I mean, yes. But Booker's their best trade chip because he's actually young and still has value. Like Durant's still really good, obviously, but Durant's also getting up there in age. And like the fact that Kevin Durant can't lead teams to victory anymore is a little telling. Like if Kevin Durant's like your second, third guy, you're probably in fine shape. But Durant can't be 1. But Booker's supposed to be 1, and Durant's supposed to be 2, and it's still not working. That Bradley Beal trade looks so awful in hindsight.
So bad. It's so bad. I was actually talking to one of my friends who's a Phoenix Suns fan, Steve Salvage. He was on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment to talk about Daredevil Born Again, and he just ranted for a good 10 minutes about the Suns. Like he's like the Suns. He's like I've never been this depressed. He was like even the years but when Booker and Ayton were still trying to put it all together, I was not this depressed about my team. Like it's a bad time to be a Suns fan.
I still think because of the Bradley Beal trade, I still think it's a trade you do in the fact that you traded almost literally nothing outside of Chris Paul. Like you were trading 25 cents for $1, and it's a deal you weren't going to get elsewhere. But now looking back, it's like it might just be better off to have Chris Paul. Though Chris Paul and Kevin Durant seem to not like each other, so maybe that whole thing was strained anyway. But it's like you might have almost been better off to have Chris Paul in that sense. I think the part where they messed up, and I said this at the time too, was the Ayton trade and getting Nurkic for Ayton, which never looked good. I think they should have rode out Ayton to see how it worked with Beal, Booker, Durant, and Ayton, and just see if it worked in any type of way. And then if it didn't work, fine. Trade Ayton and go from there. But they decided, Nurkic is the answer. It's like, man, Nurkic has not been the answer anywhere ever since these injuries and surgeries. Like he ain't helping that defense. You got to get a defensive-minded center in there, and that's not what they got. And it's clearly not worked out. And then they thought, Nick Richards was going to be the answer, and that hasn't worked either. So, I don't feel bad for the Suns. It's always fuck Kevin Durant forever in this household. So I don't feel bad for him at all.
Stand up strong. What's your hottest take?
Okay. Hottest take. Since we're talking about basketball, I'm going to go with a basketball tie-in with things. Okay. All right. Tyrese Halliburton wrestles this year. Tyrese Halliburton gets in the ring. Obviously, it'll be once the playoffs are over. It'll be sometime this summer. Maybe SummerSlam. Maybe Jalen Brunson gets in the ring as well. But I think Tyrese Halliburton will wrestle in 2025.
I like that. I like that hottest take. That's a good one. I think there's one final thing we gotta touch on before we sign things off, and that is the best WWE weekly show on the planet. Move over Monday Night Raw, move over Friday Night SmackDown, move over NXT. No one's even talking about Evolve. They're talking about LFG, Legends and Future Greats, because my boy, Sexy BJ Ray, the only person that Bully Ray hates more than me, Sexy BJ Ray, Braden Ray, and his pipe bomb promo. So this whole show starts off with CM Punk coming in, and he's like, I got this mic here, and he's like, I just want you guys to stand up and cut a promo. And oh my God, my man Jasper Troy, Booker T, Team Booker T's ace in the hole. Booker T be like, he's gonna get biblical on your ass. He's gonna get biblical on this. And this man cut his version of the MJF CM Punk left me and I was his biggest fan promo. He was like, I used to tell my friend that my guy was gonna do it. My guy, I wanted to watch you go to WrestleMania. And what did you do? You left. So I want to come here and I want to get in that ring in WWE and look you in the eye and make you bend a knee. Yo, everybody, even Bully Ray was like, you're not even on my team. But, oh my God, that was crazy. He stood up and shook his hand. Bully Ray, the man who did the whole thing at the beginning of the show, was like, I'm not going to shake any of your hands. He got up and shook Jasper Troy's hand. Undertaker was like, Undertaker gave him a round of applause. This man, Jasper Troy, knocked that promo out of the park. My girl, the real star, the number one, I'm going to give you my fave 5 from LFG at the end, but spoiler alert, number 1 is TMS, Tyra May Steele. She showed a whole different side of herself because she got up there and Bully Ray wanted to be rude to her, and she was like, don't be disrespectful. I will talk about, because I always get played, and people didn't think I would be here, but I went into the big arenas already. I don't need WWE to be in big arenas. I went to big arenas and I won an Olympic gold medal, and I'm gonna do it again. She started getting emotional, started crying in her promo. That was a good one. But my man Brand, Sexy BJ Ray, he's got a shoulder injury, so he had to be replaced on Team Bubba. He got replaced by Cutler James, a guy that he went to Duke University with. This dude comes in, he's not even sitting down with the rest of the people, the rest of the recruits. He comes in, he grabs the mic from Punk. He's like, hey, Punkster. And then he sits down in the cross-line position and starts cutting a promo on Team Bubba, like ripping them apart. He says, Cena. He was like, Cena, you are the epitome of stupidity. He was like, I can't explain that to you because I don't have any crayons to write it down for you. And she's like, I love crayons. Then he's like, Tiana. He was like, I'm not even going to talk about you because I don't want you to cry again. Then he's like, oh, Roxanne's boyfriend. He was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to call you because you don't even deserve a name because that's all you ever be is Roxanne's boyfriend. CM Punk.
Punk's like, oh, shit.
It's like, oh my God. And then Cutler James, he's like, I'm just gonna, when I come back, when I'm healthy enough, he was like, I'm gonna do what I did to you every day in the Duke practice room. I'm gonna make you my bitch. So all I have for you is 3 syllables. replacement. And he's like, to all the rest of you, good luck, because the number one prospect is not here. And even Bully in his confessional had to be like, again, BJ had to come at the wrong place, the wrong time. But goddamn, that was one hell of a promo. Even Bully's dumbass knew that this man just knocked it out of him. He called Bully a douchebag. He was like, even though Bully, I feel like Bully's been a douchebag to me, I have learned some things to him, that this is not a family. This is not, nobody's called me. Nobody's looked out for me. Nobody's tried to ask me how I'm doing. You LFG this, LFG that. This is a business. So that's the one thing I learned from Bully. So you better do some business, and just left. Oh, it was like, BJ Ray, this man is 2017 MJF. He's got that 2017 MJF in him, where he is just raw talent on the mic. I've not even seen him in the ring, but I became such a bigger fan of sexy BJ Ray on this week. But Shiloh Hill, he showed some stuff in the ring. He just didn't step up when he should have during the promos. But my fave five after this week is we got sexy BJ Ray at number 5. He's only at number 5. He probably would be number 1 after this week, after his promo, but he didn't wrestle because he's still injured. Number 4, Shiloh Hill. He's got that raw talent, and he looks like young Mark Calloway, but with no teeth in the front and stuff. But he showed some intensity at the end of the show, and he had a good matchup as well with Cutler James. Then we got Anthony Luke, who is basically 1995 Flex Kavana. He's basically Rocky Maivia before Rocky Maivia in the look, in the way he moves in the ring a lot, and he has that like natural charisma that The Rock had when he was Flex Kavana. Number 2, Jasper Troy, because he knocked that promo out the park, and he's always been consistent in the ring. And Tyra May Steele is the black female Kurt Angle. She's going to be a star immediately because she is Olympic gold medalist. She's got charisma. She's got a great personality, a great way of looking at things. She's going to be a real big talent. But, man, I love LFG. And it's a shame that I'm going to have to finish watching this show because Mickey's the best coach. So I'm going to have to finish watching it after season 1. But best show right now.
I watch largely clips of LFG. I don't watch the full show. I'm not going to pretend like I do, but I did see these promos from everybody, and yeah, the reactions are just as good as the promos. We talked about like the Punk one, but yeah, the reactions are just as good. Some of them, credit to them, man. They went in with these promos. Like, you never know how that stuff's gonna kind of turn out, but they went in with those promos. So yeah, from what I've seen from the clips, like, it is very tough enough meets, I guess, sort of level up because they still have matches and everything, and it is like the performance center talent and stuff. So, look, we're both reality television fans. It's pretty much up our alley when it
exactly.
Exactly.
I literally did a binge watch of like episodes 2 through 4 on Sunday because I had time as I was doing work and other stuff, and then I watched episode 5 on Monday morning. So yeah, I caught up over the weekend. So I really enjoyed this show. Even Booker, who sometimes I've said some stuff, and I don't like the way he does his podcast at times. He's great on this show though. He's a great coach. He's like the drunk uncle. He's talking trash to everybody, all the other coaches, because he's in the lead right now because they do points every week. Whichever team gets points for the week, and Booker's in the lead. He's up 4-2-1 on Mickey's team has 2, and Undertaker's team has 1, and of course Bully Ray, he's a bum, so he only has 0 points.
Yeah, I know. I noticed on the scoreboard that that Bubba has 0 points, which was hilarious to me.
It's great stuff. But yeah.
All right, everybody. SP3, let them know what you got going on, where you can find you at.
Find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I should have actually 2 lists coming out within the next week for Sports Illustrated. I'm working on the 10 best matches of all time, 10 best WWE matches of all time. I'm also working on a specific list for Trish Stratus, because this week is her 25th anniversary of her debut in WWE. So I'll be having those lists come out on SI.com, and you can see my interview with Speedball Mike Bailey. That's up on SI.com right now. Great conversation. Learned about the background of the Ultimo Weapon, as well as his new finisher's name, as well as him confirming the Fightful Select report that he was dealing with his visa over the time that we didn't see him from TNA to AEW. So some great stuff. That's my pin comment on Twitter account right now, or X account right now, and I will be live in about a half an hour with Romeo Anthony Colon to further break down and talk about last night's Monday Night Raw, and we'll see how far Romeo jumps out the window to compliment John Cena's promo from last night.
Great interview with Speedball, by the
Thank
way. That was good stuff. Getting some insight from him on his new finisher and what he's calling it, and chasing the Kenny Omega match and his entire debut. So I saw that one up over the weekend. I know he ran something from it, but that was a good interview that he did. And I know Speedball is one of your favorites, so I know that was cool for you to get the interview. All right, everybody.
Yeah, my third time interviewing him. Most of any wrestler I've ever interviewed, 3 times.
And his first interview since signing with AEW. So as far as I know, anyway, I didn't see anything else out there. So, all right, everybody, we'll be back tomorrow. Myself and Joel talking about NXT or something. I don't know. We'll get Joel's thoughts on John Cena. I assume Joel hated it. Joel hates everything. That's not AEW, so maybe he liked it. Actually,
Liked it.
Yeah. I'm gonna pitch for Cope to win the title all day tomorrow. That's gonna be tomorrow's show. Me rally for Cope, everyone. All right. RFC tomorrow on ITW. Rally for Cope. Bye, everybody.